100% Hard AF Seltzer is now live in over 2,500 locations across the United States. We're now available in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, North Carolina, Ohio, Idaho, Illinois, Michigan, Montana, Oregon, and Texas. Go to hardafseltzer.com today, click on the store locator, enter your city or zip, and find the nearest location closest to you.
Live from our studios in Austin, Texas, this is Drinkin Bros Fake News with Ross Patterson, Dan Hollaway, Papa G with the traffic,
How you feel?
Not good.
Yeah?
field reporter Hot Bob, and Delco Dan with sports. Welcome to Fake News.
Yeah, welcome to Drinkin Bros Fake News, everybody, bringing you the realest, fakest news of the week. Thursday's here. D'Anthony, I was unaware because of you and I not really following religious stuff very often that it was a half day for kids today, full day off tomorrow for Good Friday.
The public schools get it off?
Yes, they do.
How do you
It's
like?
also
How do you
Passover.
like that? You little. Wait, we haven't sworn yet, right?
No, we haven't
All right,
sworn.
good. How do you like that? You little F word, mother effer,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Again, the intro swears.
Don't worry
No,
about that.
You shut up. You shut that mouth up. All right? No swear words. Are we still green or is it yellow?
It's always yellow, baby.
Is it really?
We're as yellow as that hobo's waist.
Come on, man.
Right.
That's not real. Did they ding us for the song? For saying F in the song?
I think the channel just starts as limited until proven otherwise.
Yeah, proven
No,
guilty
I
at this
just-
point. We've gotten like 6 subscribers. in the last couple days.
Monetization was turned off, and I just turned it on.
Okay, so we're
we'll
still
see.
still good.
For now. Yeah, we've got 7.5 minutes
Oh
left.
man, I don't know
Give
if
or
I'm going to
take.
be able to do it.
There's no way.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do
We
it.
really just have to keep it to small talk, because once
Yeah.
we start talking about any real issue, I'm going to get angry.
It's those two though. It's you guys who blew it. We've been fine.
How about this effing weather?
I'm wearing a sweatshirt. Yeah,
I
because
thought
it was 60 this morning.
Yeah, it's nice today.
Now
60.
when you came in today, you're perfectly dressed for the
Yeah, you
occasion.
can-
I was dressed for the morning.
You can tell what time somebody woke up by what they're wearing in Texas this time of year.
Correct. And so for me, because I was up early with the kids and all that other stuff, it was cold this morning, so I got this on.
Well, I was up
If you're
technically
wondering-
at 4 because I had to take Candace to the airport, but then obviously went back to sleep for a
Yeah.
while. I'm not staying awake that early. There's nothing
No.
good. You know how they used to say, your parents maybe used to tell you that nothing good happens after midnight? Mm-hmm. They're right.
Yeah.
They're right. Nothing good happens between midnight and 8 a.m.
No.
Nothing good ever.
Ever.
Just sleep. That's what I've learned as an adult. Just sleep. Can you imagine all the times you chose not to sleep as a child?
Boy, it was a lot.
Just a huge mistake every single time.
It was a lot, and I'll tell you this: nothing really happens before noon. And I ironically said this on the show a week ago, I think. And I go, dude, you don't even wake up. A school shooting hasn't even started yet until noon. And then, sure enough, Florida State today happened, and yeah, dude, it was right after we finished Ross Patterson Revolution, right around that noon or hour.
You think there's some correlation?
I do. I think.
You think the guy when he was watching
sleep
it?
in. You got to sleep in. You know.
Well, that's why I don't. So there's all this hubbub these days about THC and how it's driving people crazy, and now these losers that jump from one problem to the next, and that's how they just made their careers, are on it right now. People are overdosing on it. Like, you're taking 900 milligrams.
Yeah.
Man.
It's a lot.
I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm fine.
Yep.
And if you can't handle this very basic of all the drugs, then you're just not going to make it in life.
I do agree. That's why we like stuff like Diet Smoke, that they're making a lot of stuff too strong.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the weed industry now is the equivalent of, like, if the
Four
alcohol...
Loko.
Yeah, the alcohol industry only sold Everclear and, like, 15% ABV beers. You know what I mean? Like, it is just all the strongest stuff.
Yeah.
But here's what I don't understand in regards to the weed thing, because I've heard this argument a lot as well, and they're right now, especially in Texas, they're trying to get rid of it as we speak, and they're trying to sign legislation. With that, here's what I can say. Having worked at a bar as a bouncer for 4 years, did I ever get in one fight with somebody who was high? None.
No.
0 times. Now, did I get with somebody who was wasted? 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, and then, of course,
never too high that it was like, oh, man, he got out of control.
Yeah, and on the streets as well, it's like, okay, you may get into at worst, a minor fender bender, because how hard can you really hit somebody when you're driving 15 miles per hour? And
15.
In the right lane with your blinker going left on, which is not even possible.
So I don't want to hear it out there.
I just don't
I think
get
we're
down
fine.
with that stuff.
I don't either, man.
Silly. To me, it all reads as super silly, and I just can't get down with it. You know?
Me neither, man. And we make 8% booze for a reason, and
I think that's the sweet spot.
I think it is
because that's where craft beer lands. Usually, somewhere between 7 and 9. That's where craft beer lands.
I couldn't sit down and crack open 6 or 7 Four Locos.
No, of course not. But you can with Hardy F. And then the other part, like onto the craft beer portion of it. The reason that, and no shade on these companies because it just is what it is. But Bud Light, Coors Light, so on. The reason they don't make high ABV beer is because their beer is a lager, and you just can't.
Can't do it.
Right?
It's got to be an IPA.
It'll taste awful. If you make a lager that's 8%, it would taste awful. So we're just in different games.
I love a good, clean amber as much as the next guy.
But it's like 4.5%.
Exactly. You can't hide so the reason IPAs are higher is because you can hide a lot of stuff with all the hops and that type of thing.
Yeah. Right.
Which is, that's one of those things where some people like hops and some people don't. People that like it, they'll just drink IPA, double IPA all day.
Yeah, same. I don't mind it, dude. You throw anything in front of my face except for a stout. A stout, I feel like I get to sit down with a fork and knife.
Well, see, I like a stout.
Do you?
I like two.
It's a full meal for me.
I like 2 stouts up front.
Okay.
And then I'll drink whatever after that. But 2 Guinnesses or something like that up front, I like that. Or, what was the one that Wilmington Brewery had? That stout.
Oh, yeah.
It was an oatmeal, but it had some kind of spice or something.
I know.
It was like 9% too.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Real high, dude.
Maybe I'll check that out soon. I go out there a lot. I don't remember which one it was.
Blair Stout was the name of it. Yes, that's what they called it. Blair Stout.
Then there was another
Wilmington Brewery.
There was another sour
Carolina.
that they had that we really liked.
Yep.
You and I really liked. I can't remember what it was, but it was around 9% too.
Heck yeah.
But that's the thing. Something like a full flavor beer, you can crank up that ABV
real quick.
You can't do it with lagers.
No.
You just can't. It tastes terrible.
No, you can't do it. Speaking of which, we're down to 13 days on WeFunder.com/HardAFSeltzer. We've left 30% of the company open up to you, but it shuts down in 13 days, so that's it. Get in while you can. SEC and the government have something about giving out shares of your company, and then they have to do another audits. That's going to take 7 or 8 months if we ever wanted to do another one, so that's a hard no on that one. So this is it, kids. Get in while you can. Pennsylvania got some updates there. So we talked about this a little bit yesterday, that we're going to do, everybody's been asking if we're going to do the NFL draft show. As always, dude, we're not going to miss that. I know that there was one deleted for various reasons that evening, and I believe it was the Falcons. Back in the day, we were in North Carolina, I think, when that one got deleted. Every other one has lived on, and we will continue the tradition. We're actually going to go to a listener's house and do it. And I've chatted with the young man, and his wife seems cool with it. But it's just going to be the 3 of us. That way we don't trash his house or anything like that. But we're just going to hang out with him and his wife and shoot it there live. And hopefully they got some sweet Barca loungers for us.
That sounds like you and I just going over to some dude's house with his wife.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Did we clear that with our respective women?
I did not.
Okay. I'll also be there with the camera.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said me, Dan, and those are the 3.
So more so than Barca lounges, then we may need cuck chairs, is what you're saying.
For the corner of the room. Like I don't know what they're into yet, and we'll find out.
I want to watch
goes on.
just people living life.
Yep.
That's what brings to some
just
degree.
Just enjoying the moment. No cell phones.
That's right. Yeah. As a someone who fought and died for this country, it really makes me happy to see people out there enjoying their liberty.
Just steady boning.
Well, even if they're not boning, but whatever they're doing.
Yeah. Whatever they're into.
Just enjoy your life.
I agree. I agree. Just like Rihanna. By the way, one of the listeners just said we were on Fake News 400. I was unaware of that until that just happened right now.
We're on episode fucking 400, boys.
Wow.
go.
Did we go past the 10-minute mark?
Yeah,
Technically,
damn it,
yeah.
he beat me. I was gonna be like,
All right.
He's gonna talk about pussy munching.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, fucking butt fucking.
No, obviously. So do we have confirmation that it is the 10-minute mark?
Yeah, you can see it on the screen.
No. I mean for you.
Yeah.
Because then I'll say the worst shit of pot.
Yeah, well, so here's-
well.
I've
Because that
actually-
was a real tough 10, guys.
I wanted to bring this up earlier, actually.
My fucking balls?
No, there's so one of our fans on, I think it was on Twitter, got one of their posts flagged for violent speech because they said something about licking buttholes.
Oh.
How can that be possible? I mean, we are.
We're still in ass-eating season?
We're in ass-eating season for another 2 weeks.
Same as the WeFunder.com/HardyFSeltzer. We
Yeah.
got 13 more days.
Yeah.
And not that we timed it like this. That was just a happy accident by the government.
Yeah.
But by the time the fundraiser, by the time you're invested in the company,
Yeah.
ass-eating season is over, and then you're just a dirty, nasty freak.
Yeah, and my position on it with regard to Twitter, and I'm something of a fan of Twitter, I guess, but
I am.
that one crossed the line for me
Yeah.
because certainly there's if done properly, eating ass can be violent. But I don't know that it's violent in the way that they're saying, right? Nobody gets hurt.
Nobody gets hurt. You might have pink eye or go to the hospital
Or sprain your tongue. It's a muscle, right? You
Look,
can do that.
if it's after May 1st, guys, especially in the state of Texas, you're gross at that point.
What, you don't like a salt rim on your asshole?
Nope, sure don't.
It's an after shower activity.
It's not a margarita, Bob.
No, but you can get those little lime salt packets from the gas station here.
Just sprinkle that on there.
Yeah.
The only time, because somebody else.
Well, you got to
was like,
lick
hey,
it. You have to lick it first, then sprinkle it on. Otherwise, it won't stick.
But there was somebody else who said, "But I love eating ass all year round. Is there a way I can do it?" Yes, there is. Just hop into the shower and make sure that it's in your own home. You can't go out to a parking garage with a stranger. A night out at Outback Steakhouse, having a couple Wallaby Darns, and then just eat a stranger's ass in a parking garage here in Texas on May 1st. That's gross.
Yeah,
you can go home and shower each other up, and then lay in bed and eat ass like a normal person.
I think if you lived in the Arctic Circle, you still should not do any of that shit you just said.
Why?
Because of AIDS.
How are you going to get AIDS in the cold?
You're going to get AIDS and poop eye. So AIDS doesn't care how cold it is.
It does.
No.
AIDS is
It's a bloodborne
Where did it come
pathogen.
from?
From blood.
what continent?
We don't know for sure.
We sure do. It was Africa. It's hot as fuck there, dude. So you're not getting AIDS in Antarctica.
Malaria came from there too, right?
Yeah.
Was malaria
all the
south-
shitty hot diseases there are all from there, dude.
Was malaria the Southeast Asia? Actually, I think
It's
it was.
the tsetse fly. If you look that up, Bob, the tsetse fly is the one that's.
It's specific. It started in Africa.
Malaria did too?
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come on, dude. That's a walk-off right there.
It is.
My God, that
It
was
is.
Larry Bird.
The cradle of life, you know?
Look at that. 3-pointer walk-off,
Give
dude.
him a gold star.
Come on.
If we
Give
give
our
him a
sweet
gold,
boy a gold
no,
star.
If we give him a gold star, I'm going to put a number on it and put him in a camp. How do you like that?
Well,
Nailed it. That's a
can't
Holocaust
do that.
joke right
Sure
there.
is. He's about to rise on Sunday, guys. Okay?
Yeah.
Can't do that.
It's coming soon. You guys know it's Hitler's birthday soon, right?
420. Yeah, 420 it is. We'll celebrate that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, not celebrate. We'll talk about his accomplishments as an artist.
Hitler's birthday is, in fact, on Easter this year.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Double whammy.
Is it 420 on Sunday?
I believe so.
My God, man. So then what do? You go to church high?
Just shave your mustache down a little bit.
All right. Fair enough.
This is why I have a beard, actually, because this time of year, if I don't have a beard, I only grow hair right here.
Yeah.
It's genetics or something. I don't know what it is.
I heard, man. I heard.
It's really embarrassing, actually.
Let's start this off in a dark place. So one of you guys just
Darker
sent
than the
this
Holocaust.
in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of our listeners just sent this in here and couldn't not lead with it, obviously. It is narrated, and it'll speak for itself here. So again, press play, Bob.
I don't understand how you even think to create a shirt like this.
It seems public decency has fallen. A restaurant is facing backlash over a controversial new food challenge. The meal, 2 towering stacks of pancakes, and for those who want to commemorate the feast, A t-shirt is available reading, "I took down the towers in under 9 minutes and 11 seconds."
Yeah.
Many say the design is a tasteless joke. Others argue it's just breakfast, but one woman against it.
Others argue it's just
I
breakfast.
feel like there's a middle ground there.
Yeah, I don't think that's a real reporter.
I'm not sure. One of our listeners just said that on Twitter. That's why the show's called Fake News. That could be real. It could be fake. I don't really know.
The shirt,
and I'm not a goddamn journalist.
The shirt and the competition and that lady crying are all real.
Okay.
But I think the voiceover, I don't think that's a real journalist.
It should be.
So that lady's from the other thing we played a couple weeks back, just the funny 9/11 shirts that she got served on her feed because she's a 9/11 victim, or her dad is, or whatever.
Okay, gotcha.
So she, I guess, because the algorithm just knew, like, oh, she likes 9/11, talks about it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe at least she's never forgetting.
No.
But there's a consequence to never forgetting.
It sure is, and it's that day being 9/11.
Yeah.
So
well, then there was this other woman who, and this is like, I don't know if this is just coincidence or if we live in a simulation, but a woman whose dad died in 9/11 also died recently from a pancake eating contest, completely unrelated to this.
Correct. At Sacred Heart University, she was in a pancake eating contest.
And she died of what exactly?
Choking on the pancakes. That had nothing to do with the video you just saw.
These people don't know the Heimlich
But
maneuver?
they didn't know how to really make this article pop.
It's too spongy. You can't wedge it out.
Exactly. They said, hey, it's a 9/11 victim. Kid.
I'll give you guys
kid of the guy who died
in
9/11. Now, granted, she's hot, and so she deserves her flowers, but
I'll give you a fucking tracheotomy if you get this little slip.
I believe in you.
Yeah.
I believe in you. So I'm never afraid to choke in front of Dan on the road. So yeah. First up, news-wise, real story, I think. Trump wants Jerome Powell gone, head of the Fed. I understand it. President Donald John Trump has publicly criticized Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, calling for his termination and accusing him of being consistently late and incorrect in managing interest rates. This follows Powell's remarks on the economic impacts on the tariff increases, which he stated were significantly larger than expected, potentially leading to higher inflation and slower economic growth. Real inflation is down to 1.36% rates, and so they should be cut by a full percentage point immediately, if not more. Trump said the ECB is expected to cut interest rates for the 7th time, and yet, too late. Jerome Powell of the Fed, who is always too late and wrong, yesterday issued a report which was another and typical complete mess. Oil prices are down. That is true. Groceries, even eggs are down. Yes, that is true as well. And the U.S. Is getting rich on tariffs. That one will be TBD here. Too late. We should have lowered the interest rates like the ECB long ago, but he should certainly lower them now. Powell's termination cannot come fast enough. Get this fucking guy out of here. So, look, we call it like we see it on this show. I even think when Biden was in towards the end, he could have cut rates faster, to be honest with you. I know he cock-teased it for a year, which kind of fucked over the Democratic Party, to be honest with you. And he didn't do anything when I know that he could have. I mean, shit. Because I think, Bob, you were going through a house at that time, and so was I believe. And it sat there at like fucking 8 for 2 years, just over 2 years before it finally started coming down. But at that point, Biden's out of there. Obviously, everybody was bitching about his economy, and rightfully so. I actually buy my own gas and fucking all that shit every day. So all these prices are correct. I buy groceries too and help out with the wife and all that other stuff. So I don't have any problem with that. The rest he said, but tariffs, we'll see. I watched the presser yesterday with Jerome Powell, and he personally brought up the tariffs, and it's like, hey, dude, those don't even kick in for a while, and we're not going to know the effects of those probably for another 6 or 8 months, I would say.
Yeah, and that's if they stay in the same place that they're in now.
Correct.
Right? Which is unlikely. I think we're probably going to settle on something like a 10% total tariff.
Mm-hmm. All the way around.
That'll probably be the end of it. And it's, this roller coaster that we're on, from Trump brash statement to White House or related agency announcement to impact to result, and then in between it, there's all this like fucking bloviate. Oh, it's world's going to end, the sky's falling, and it's always wrong. Everybody, all last week, everybody was like, we're going to war with Iran. Mm-hmm. This is evil. We can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And today, or yesterday, technically last night, we find out, that whole conversation going on behind the scenes with Vance and all these guys.
Right.
Vance team won and Trump, right? The internal apparatus in the White House convinced Trump not to support Israel bombing Iran, and we told them not to, and they didn't.
Simple
because we're negotiating with him.
Yeah.
Just like he fucking said he would.
Yeah.
Because last week, everybody on the libertarian side, all of them were like, I thought it was America first. It just click-clacking on their fucking keyboards. None of them have ever been to a fucking war or worked in government or done anything except for whine on the internet.
But the problem is the mainstream media that everybody's watching on a nightly basis, that is still served to most of us, right?
Yeah.
I watch it. I watch it every fucking night. Well, so does my wife.
And then there's the fact that most people agree on most things, to be honest. It's like the 80-20 rule. Hold on, Bob, I'm going to send you something that I saw this morning.
While you're doing that, though, but like starting the intro for ABC News last night, which you set, like those, I don't know, maybe it was me or just naive as a kid, or it really did change when Trump came in 2015, but like, every single fucking thing was in your face. The world is ending tomorrow. It started off with the Maryland father who was, wrongfully accused and he needs to go back to Maryland with his family and the 3 kids and all that other shit. And it was just like, no, man, he's not from Maryland. Not at all. He snuck into Maryland, and that's great, but that was the first lead. And then on their Twitter, an hour later, they had to go back in and release the thing. I didn't know he's got domestic violence against the wife and beat the shit out of her. You see that? Yeah. So ABC News had a report on that. However, they didn't put it in the actual news that went out to the people. They put that little piece on their Twitter page, which, let's face it, who the fuck is following that? Except for people who are doing news shows like this, which is fake, essentially. Next story was the fucking stock market's crashing for tariffs and Jerome Powell and all this other shit. And it was intercut with like all this sad footage of like older men crying on the floor of the stock exchange. Guys, we're fucking 10, 15 years from people running paper tickets on the stock exchange anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're digging into Getty Images to find this shit from yesteryear. Like, we don't do it anymore. It's all fucking digital. So that's the other part. The next one up was some fucking plane thing again, which... The plane thing to me has always probably happened. We're just showing it now more because there isn't anything else to do.
Yeah, I did a little bit of, if you remember correctly, what was it, 3 years ago, I did a little bit of research on this for train derailments.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
The story wasn't that trains were derailing because it was happening at exactly the same rate that it always does. This is under Buttigieg. The story was that a bunch of chemicals got released into a community, and Pete Buttigieg was on paternity leave. That's the story for 3 fucking months.
Yes.
That was the story. Yep. And it was right on the back end of the fucking Suez Canal thing, too, that fucked up our supply chain. Mm-hmm. Right? So East Palestine, Ohio, Suez Canal, that all happened with, in like a 6 or 7 month period?
Yes.
And this dude has just fucking disappeared. The guy that's in charge of that has disappeared. That's the story. And this is the case with most of this stuff. If you looked into the rate of different classes of aircraft crashing and shit like that, private and commercial, it's about the same as it always is.
Yeah.
But now it's just like anybody that's in politics takes advantage on one side or the other to say something about it. I don't remember who it was when that plane crash happened 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, or last week. He's like, this is what happens when Trump deregulates the FAA. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't. The bird wasn't being controlled by the FAA. So now what?
Now what? What are we doing here?
Shut the fuck up.
And then tonight it'll be something else. What I think we can all agree on, Republicans and Democrats, especially if you, let's say, were a Biden fan in the last term and Kamala Harris, is yes, Jerome Powell could have cut the rates in that administration. He could have cut it in this one, and we cannot get that guy out of here fast enough. And I 100% agree with that.
Bob, do you want to play this video that I sent you? I'm curious what your thoughts, all of you,
Okay.
and the audience as well.
With all the screaming we hear from our screens, and all the noise from the hate industrial complex, if we don't decide what our values are, someone else will decide them for us.
China's growing foreign influence.
Russian troll factory.
Iran's efforts to interfere with the upcoming election.
But would you believe it if I told you that 90 to 100% of Americans agree on almost everything? According to the latest polls, shared American values include even most contentious topics: abortion, immigration, free speech, and the values beneath those. The values that hold us together. Hard work, not helplessness. Faith, not fear. Gratitude, not grievance. Equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. Law and order, not vigilantism. Equal justice under the law, regardless of race or religion. Taking care of our land, not destroying it. Excellence, not mediocrity. Family, not isolation. And the more unified we are here at home, the stronger we are to compete and lead the world. If anyone tries to tell you differently, they're either making money off you or they're using you for their cause. So don't look to your screens for American values. Look to your neighbors. We are us.
Now, who put this ad out?
The store.
It's not necessarily an advertisement.
This is the account.
Yeah, it's us, the story.
Okay. .com?
.org.
Or .org?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like they've been one of the leading organizations, them and their associated organizations, on tracking foreign influence into American politics. Russia and China and a little bit of Iran, but mostly Russia and China. And then some of the cutouts like WEF through USAID funding as well. So some of the money starts here, goes there.
Yeah.
Influence is back here.
For sure.
They've been on the front lines of this stuff for a long time. As a matter of fact, this is one of the ways that I corroborated what I learned in the intelligence community about Russia funding Antifa and BLM. They had corroborating evidence to show that as well, and it didn't come from it. It was a separate source. So all of this fucking bullshit that you hear from this group or that group, like these people are evil or this group are Nazis or these people don't care about this or whatever. And it's probably true to some degree of the people at the head of these organizations or political parties or whatever. Those people should be distrusted, frankly. But your neighbor has nothing to do with that shit. Most American people on about 80 to 85% of shit have no difference. Right? And we choose, this is a choice that we make, to focus on 15 instead of 85. That's a choice that we make every single day. Why?
I don't know.
Like, how is it making us stronger as a country? How's it making your life better? How's it making our economy better? How's it making the free expression of ideas and entrepreneurship better in our country to behave that way? All it's doing is allowing you to become a single-issue voter, right? To be duped by these assholes. That's literally all it does, is make you a victim to propaganda.
Well, you want a team sport. And it's almost like rooting for a football team at this point. And I'll go back to a guest we had on the show a long time ago, John Levy. He's a behavioral scientist. He was on the show. He wrote that book, The Influencers. It was where he gets everybody to go to dinner. Influencers dinners is what they're called. And it's everybody from all industries. You're not allowed to tell what you do for a living. You're not allowed to talk politics. You have a name tag with your first name only. And then you chat with everybody, and his theory was, as a behavioral scientist, that everybody on the right and left is off by probably 2 issues, maybe 3 tops. Other than that, you're not.
But some of that's not even true, because Bob has talked about this before with RBG. The issue of abortion was settled in the early 1970s. Everybody had agreed that the standard should be about 15 weeks because that was the bottom end of viability. And everybody's like, all right, cool. Yeah. We're done with this now.
Actually, I think back then it wasn't even close to viability.
No, it wasn't.
It is now.
It was 22 weeks back then, which is 7 weeks is almost 2 months, so fair enough. But people agreed pretty much on 15 weeks. And now...
So that'd be like roughly the end of the first trimester.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So they made case law out of it for no reason, and bad case law that's unenforceable technically, which is why it got overturned in the first place. But that was a settled issue that the government chose to step in and adjudicate, probably due to outside pressure, right? And the outside pressure is always the same. It's this fucking Atwater Dick from Nixon's organization who wanted to, what they called the Southern Strategy, right? Where we're going to pit white people against black people.
Yep.
That was part of it. They did it. You can say whatever you want to about it. You can fucking go out in little rabbit holes and deny shit. That's what happened. He's on tape saying that's what he did. This is Atwater, by the way. So many of these other issues. You can rewind 10, 15 years and hear not mainstream Democrats, but the leaders of the Democratic Party at the time, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, saying immigration's got to stop. This shit's got to stop. We got to bring American jobs back to the United States.
Pelosi, Schumer.
Blah, 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 blah. Every single fucking talking point that Trump has, and by the way, Trump is a Democrat from 30 years ago. Every single talking point he has is exactly what they were saying before, but now he's a Nazi for saying it. Right. These were settled issues that they then somehow turned contentious, which is why you should be extremely suspicious of all these. Like, you guys are probably more so on the right-wing side. You should be very suspicious of any right-wing influencer telling you to distrust or hate anybody on the other side, because that's a grift.
Yeah. It feels like a lot of those guys are starting to go away. I don't know if you're getting the same take that I am, but on either podcasts or social media, some of these people who are pretty famous on both sides are kind of starting to go away because they all got sucked into one thing or another. Either holding up fucking, like on the right, holding up the Epstein files and that shit outside the White House. Remember that goddamn debacle that never amounted to anything? Most of those guys kind of got shunned or embarrassed or whatever it is. And then you've got like the Harry Sissons on the left and all that other shit where you're just like, all right, fuck off. So yeah, man, it's weird. I will stand by what Jonathan said. I think it's usually two issues for most people. And I'll say I think the left's climate change is one of them. Bob, what else? What's like a diehard abortion? Probably
still abortion.
Yes. And climate change, I think those are probably the top two.
It's for singular issues, yeah, but like the fringe, if you want to call it that, the active part of the left is still very postmodernist Marxist with this oppressor versus oppressee. That's it, right? If you are considered an oppressor or part of the oppressor class, then you're always wrong no matter what you do. Mm-hmm. And if you're a part of the oppressed class, you're always right no matter what you do, which is why these people will call Israel war criminals for bombing military sites that have civilians around them, but not the people who put the civilians at the military site in the first place. That is a literal war crime.
Right.
What Israel's doing is not, clearly. But that's part of it. And then, black kid gets shot by police. The story is, well, the picture is a picture of him in high school.
Or a baby photo or something.
Nothing to say about the violent criminal history that he may or may not have and what led up to the shooting in the first place, which is why we have these wild-ass, disparate fucking views on quantitative analysis on this. Douglas Murray did a piece on this back in the day. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, but the average center-left person, if you ask them how many unarmed black people get killed by police every year, they'll say 100. If you ask a solid Democrat, they would say 1,000. If you ask a progressive, they would say 10,000. The answer is 9.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how you arrive at that, is because people are so full of shit.
Well, and also it's jammed in your face all goddamn day long, so you think the problem is way bigger than it is, and it's actually not that big of a problem. Yeah. Take today, for example. Bill Maher met with Trump. Went down to Mar-a-Lago, met with Trump. I guess Kid Rock, I mean, talk about fucking bizarre world we're living in, arranged this meeting and said, hey, go down and have dinner with this guy and tell me what you think after dinner. And the left has been torching Bill Maher to the point where he's going on every talk show. He was on fucking TMZ. He called into TMZ this morning. So go on TMZ and said, hey,
I should be treated like a fucking hero for actually reaching out to the other side and saying, you know what, man, I'm going to go have dinner with this person. And I agree on both sides. Like, I don't know why Bill Maher's getting torched. Like, unless you actually ask the person or get to meet the person and ask them about their beliefs and why they're doing it or why they're not doing the certain things that you want them to do, how can you ever come to an agreement on anything? And, like, he's getting fucking murdered right now. And I'm not a Bill Maher fan, but...
He gets murdered all the time.
But still, man, I mean, I did the same fucking thing. I'm not a Biden guy. I went to the goddamn White House, took the shot, and did it, man. So, hey, dude, it's possible to go and have conversations with people and not get in fights, not get in arguments. I had a pleasant weekend there. I had a pleasant weekend at the next administration, inauguration, and it's possible to do both. But we'll never get there, and especially if mainstream media is jamming this shit in your face on a fucking nightly basis just to scare the ever-living shit out of you for no fucking reason whatsoever.
Well, these people need to take responsibility and start voting with their dollar. Because one thing I like to say all the time is people don't take enough responsibility for their own media consumption.
How so? Like voting with your dollar in the media?
Stop watching Fox and CNN and MSNBC.
Well, I do it because of what we do for a living, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't, to be honest with you.
You need to look at who you follow. You need to look at what you watch. You need to look at what you read.
And just be aware of what you're ingesting.
Everyone sits there. Everyone sits there and whines about the media. It's like, dude, they are mostly profit motivated.
Yes,
they are following the dollar.
They're leaning into whatever the consumer wants.
Even
Fox News I'm not a fan of Fox News either for that exact reason.
But even on social media, in part, social media is a little bit different because we have this need to opine and we have this need to like get into debates with people for some fucking reason.
I think some of it's boredom.
Maybe, but like if you really care about that stuff, stop going to these right-wing influencers pages at all. Right. And then the second part of it is when the left winger bullshit gets thrown into your feed, don't hit the repost or reply button. If you want to do something, screenshot it and post it yourself and then comment on it. Don't give them the traction. You're literally making them money.
All engagement makes them money. So like with someone so for example on this podcast, right? If someone sees it and hates it and is like, this shit's dog shit. It's cool, dude. You just helped us.
Yeah, thanks for the comment.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, luckily I don't read them, but take last night. Here's where something I got involved in last night. It was a friend of ours, Sarah Gonzalez from The Blaze. Love her and her husband. We're good friends. Kid is great. Everything else. She posted last night a video about property taxes here in the state of Texas, which I think are the worst in the United States. You'd have to look there, but at least for what we're paying,
if it's not.
My God, dude. And so what I said was, because there was a bunch of people commenting, and I go, look, I agree with you, Sarah, and it ain't the right or the left. It's every single politician in this state except for one who's doing this shit in the state of Texas. So, like, you can get them all the fuck out of here on both sides, in my opinion, and keep this one guy. But, yeah, dude, that's about it.
Back to your original point, what we think about this, I completely agree with the main thesis of that video, which is put down your fucking phone.
Yeah, put it down.
Literally, like you have to take responsibility. If you're going to take responsibility for the food you put in your body and the other things you put in your body, you need to take responsibility for what you put in your fucking brain as well.
Right. And like I get bitched out for this. Let's see. I'm just gonna pull up my phone to do it because they said, "Hey Ross, you don't fucking post enough on Instagram or wherever the fuck it is." And I'm like, I got 3 kids and I coach all their shit, and I actually have a wife that I love, so like I'm good. And they're like, well, yeah, but I mean, you didn't post anything for like fucking 3 days, and you got to start sharing. Or I've had 2 posts in the last week. That's what the fucking email says. And I go, hey, dude, what do you want me to do? Just sit on my goddamn phone all day in front of my children and everything else? Like, no, I'll post when I want to post, or if I got time, or whatever it is. But yeah, man, yes, take responsibility for yourself and everything else. And that's kind of the general message. And then I will stick to that. I think it is 2 to 3 issues tops that separate all Americans. So that 80-20, what did you say, 80-20?
I mean, that sounds
right.
From almost every major issue, it's 90-10. But I say 80-20 just to be a little bit more conservative, I guess.
I believe that, actually. I really do. And everybody I've met and talked to, besides, I mean, you're going to get fucking crazy people on both sides, but like, most normal goddamn people in the world, dude, yeah, it's 2 issues, and I understand both. The climate change thing, you never really get me on. But
well, that is a
pun intended.
No. That's a fucking that is a function of bad messaging from the left. Because if it was if it's a Joe Rogan or Teddy Roosevelt style progressive conservative who is talking about conservation and not climate change and is talking about taking care of our rivers and streams and not talking about forcing you to do something with an electrical vehicle that you know creates more rare earth mineral off-put waste than anything that gas will ever do, right? Then you would accept that. I think 90 people would agree that we should take care of our fucking planet. 98, I think it's 98 too on that issue. And I don't know who the 2% are, Captain Planet's villains or somebody. Right. I have no idea who those 2% are, but 98% of people, according to all of these massive studies that have been done, say, yeah, we should be good conservationists. We should take care of the planet we've been given. Some of them root it in morality, like, well, God gave us this planet, so we should take care of it. Some of them are just more practical, like, well, it's our planet, we should take care of it, obviously, right? Yeah. People agree with that. It's all the downstream political affectation that people are like, no, we're not doing this.
It's because people are bored.
Yeah. And the other part, too, is like, I don't know how you control China and India, which are the two biggest.
None of this matters, dude. None of this, that climate, the carbon stuff is fake. If the Earth is a self-healing apparatus, if we create more carbon, it'll create more trees. Right? Period.
Correct.
Period.
It's more direct things, like stop having companies just dump sludge into the
river. Like Mexico fucked up our goddamn drinking water supply down to San. Like they had to move one of the buds classes up the coast a little bit last week because Mexico was like dudes and buds were getting sick from the fucking sludge that Mexico was throwing in. 100% of people, apparently, except for Mexico, can agree that that's bad. Mexico and Mr. Burns from The Simpsons don't agree with that, but everybody else agrees with that.
Yeah, so if you're honest with yourself and you're having honest conversations and all of this shit, knock out the crazy piece on both sides because you're going to get that. But like most normal fucking people, 2, 3 tops issues, and that's kind of it. All right, that'll lead us to our first sponsor on the show, MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros doubles that first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Get off the couch and get into the action today with MyBookie.com. Delco Dan and I host a golf show together, and it kicked off today. Justin Thomas shot a 10 under.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
My boy Wyndham making a run.
We're all in the mix, by the way. Jason Day is up there. Yeah. Everybody was doing great, but a 10 under. For Christ, a 61.
Somebody's going to be in the high teens at the end of this tournament.
Oh no, it's probably going to be in the 20s. Honestly,
I was going to say, is this the easiest golf course on the planet? Jesus Christ!
There's always like a fucking one weird weather round, though, isn't there? This time of year in this tournament?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's in Hilton Head. You can get rain. You can get those thunderstorms right off the coast.
I don't know if there is any weather this weekend, though.
No, Hilton Head's supposed to be really nice this week.
Let's look at the weather.
Well, then you could get into the high 20s, then, dude, because Scheffler's at -7 already.
It's 75 and sunny until Monday. Then it's get a little cloudy, but.
Yeah.
You might be right. It might be in the fucking 20s.
And then the NFL draft is next week. That is one of the most gambled on events on the planet. Join us for that. A lot of crazy shit going on with that, man. Shadur Sanders isn't even going to show up.
For what? The draft?
The draft at all.
Because he's not getting drafted in the first round.
So is that why? Yeah. You can bet on that currently. And like, I wanted to ask you guys about it. I was like, does he not think he's going in the first? Because Travis Hunter's going.
He's not going. Not to come.
Shut the fuck up.
Because he's probably not going to get drafted in the first round.
Well, no way. Is that real?
Don't we have video of Kamala Harris saying that?
Do not come.
Do not come.
Do not come. Yeah. Do not come. I'm going to come. I'm going to come. But yeah, so you can bet on all that we do every single year. It's one of our biggest events of the year. So join us for the NFL Draft Show next week. It's the one night out of the year where there's actually hope for your shitty teams like mine, the Atlanta Falcons, where I actually believe in magic. And
even if you're a Browns fan. The Browns actually have a first-round draft pick for the first time in 4 years this year.
And they're going to take Travis Hunter, probably.
Either him or I think they're actually going to take homeboy from Penn State, Abdul Carter.
I would take Abdul Carter. He's my favorite pick in the draft.
They just re-signed, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but they just re-signed Myles Garrett to a 4-year deal.
Yep.
Then they're going to get Abdul Carter, by the time it's ready to extend his rookie contract, they can either decide to keep Myles Garrett, which is possible because he's a fucking animal.
But imagine both of those guys lining up on two different
just
sides.
for 4 years.
I don't even know if you need an offense.
Even if it doesn't work out, then you've got Myles Garrett on a pretty normal it's not like a crazy contract that you can trade and get some more draft picks back from. It's a perfect situation for them. They have to draft him.
Yeah, and by the way, this is only going to amp up. Delco, this is one thing you didn't tell me about that I read last night,
You
man.
piece of shit.
Yeah, you fucking piece of shit.
Why are you constantly hiding stuff from us?
I don't get it.
What I had.
The UFC is getting out of its contracts with ESPN and going to Netflix. You didn't want to tell me that?
Well, they're under the Endeavor umbrella, so they're probably just going along with wrestling. They're the same company.
So they want $1 billion a year, and apparently Netflix said, "Yeah, we'll pay it." So they're looking for an NFL style contract, and maybe getting out of pay-per-views. I guess is that what's going to happen there? But it appears within the next 3 to 4 years, Netflix will own all of WWE, UFC, NFL, and I'm here for it. Let's go, dude.
I can't imagine that's profitable for Netflix.
I don't know.
That is so much money, man.
$1 billion. It depends on how the deal's structured. It may just be for audience capture for the first year too. But $1 billion comes out to about $20 million per UFC event. That's how much Netflix would be paying for the broadcast rights. And that's worth it. But that's including the fight night stuff too. But now it's all on one thing. And how are they making money on pay-per-view now? Is there going to be a pay-per-view option inside of Netflix, or is it all just free?
Not sure.
Because how are they making that revenue back? I'd have to see this deal to see if it makes any sense.
Well, if you're talking in the $1 billion range, you're starting to get into the NFL-wise. And the reason I'm even telling you this in regards to my bookie is you're going to be able to gamble on a ton of shit here coming up off of one network and all that stuff. And it's fun. Like, I like it. I don't like going to 10 different places to watch all this bullshit and bet on it or try to figure out where it's at. So that one, I don't really mind if there's a monopoly on. And then Gary just walked in here. Go ahead and walk behind Hollaway real quick, if you can there. No, he's out the back door there. He looked like he was going to throw up on himself or possibly shit himself to death. Not real sure there with Gare Bear, but he was blacked out on a tarmac about 48 hours ago. But go to mybookie.com, enter that promo code Drinkin Bros, double that first deposit all the way up to $1,000. You might be able to bet on if Gary dies or not. You know, someday, we'll see what happens there. Next up, Biden tried to create a police state. The strategic implementation plan for counter domestic terrorism from the Biden administration released in June 2021 was just declassified by DNI Tulsi Gabbard. It has received only negative press from pretty much every single angle here.
Yeah, it's wild to see, back to the point of that video from a minute ago, it's wild to see so many disparate political organizations and wings of even inside of parties who are all looking at this going, no.
Yeah.
So the ACLU said that the plan's emphasis on intelligence collection and information sharing could lead to excessive surveillance of Americans, particularly targeting marginalized communities. So, of course, they take the gayest possible route. But they're not wrong. The marginalized community in this case just happens to be Catholic moms.
Yeah.
Right? Or Republicans or whatever. But they're not right, or they're not wrong about the implication. And then America First Legal, which is a conservative kind of judicial watch organization, said the plan is a tool for government to monitor and suppress dissent, especially through its focus on countering quote, misinformation and disinformation online. They argue could infringe on free speech by allowing tech companies and federal agencies to censor content under the guise of preventing radicalization. Absolutely true.
Yes.
And this is one of those things we tell you about where don't let the government create weapons, because eventually somebody will come use it on you.
Mm-hmm.
Period. It doesn't matter where it begins or how noble the intentions, they will come and use it on you at some point. Republican lawmakers and commentators and shit argued the plan's collaboration with tech companies to address online radicalization stifles First Amendment rights 100%. I mean, we've seen the evidence of this through the Twitter files and various other stuff from Schellenberger and those guys, Barry Weiss, Matt Taibbi. Heritage Foundation argued the plan's focus on white supremacists and anti-government extremism overlooks other more likely forms of domestic terrorism, such as left-wing or anarchist violence. So the mass shootings mostly have been leftists and trans people the last 2 years.
What about today's guy? I wonder. He was a honky, right? Was he a honky down there, Bob?
There were
Florida
two of them,
State?
I believe. One of them got clipped and the other one got captured. That's what I heard.
Was it a couple honkies? What do we got there on the race scale?
TBD on that one.
Where are we at here?
TBD. And then, analysis I saw on both sides were like the same problem we've had for a long time, which is the lack of clear and narrow definitions of terms like extremism or radicalization. Obviously allow for arbitrary enforcement. It's that Russian model where show me the person, show me the man, and I'll show you the crime, or I'll find you the crime, or whatever, right? This is how government operates sometimes. They will loosely define something that's evil and convince everybody that this word terrorism is the most evil thing somebody can be. Like, oh, well, they're terrorists, so we have to do something. That's the fucking game they play, right? For example, the parents protesting at school board meetings about gay porn being in the fucking elementary schools, right? Like graphic descriptions of how to fucking suck dick in a book in an elementary school library. People go to a school board meeting and complain about it. That person is now a domestic terrorist. That's what happened. That's literally what happened.
Yeah.
In Loudoun County, Virginia. Shit like that. Then, the anti-COVID stuff, those people were considered extremists. When I say those people, I mean everybody that's listening to the show right now was considered a domestic violent extremist because we were like, no, if you try to take our rights away, we will fuck you up. And that's how this was founded, this country that we all live in. It's how it was founded.
And to this day, by the way, I'll say this again and again and again. YouTube threatened to delete our channel for having RFK on in 2021 or 22. And we backed out of it.
Yeah. YouTube's in a bit of trouble. We'll get to that here in a minute.
Yeah, I hope so, because all these fuckers were at the inauguration. We saw them there, Zuckerberg, everybody else, and they all kissed the ring, and we thought, all right, great, maybe it's going to change. Zuckerberg changed until, 3-4 weeks. As soon as he paid off his lawsuit there to Trump, he went back to the old bullshit. So we haven't gained a subscriber on Instagram or Facebook out of his group. YouTube, still the same bullshit over there. I think we've gained maybe 14 this week over here. And this is a top 10 show in the goddamn world. And it's all fucked. So, yeah, dude.
Yeah, we're top. So on Spotify, we're top 10.
We're number 10.
It's the fastest
and on
growing.
iTunes, we're number 32.
Spotify's the fastest growing audio platform in the world right
Correct.
now, by a wide margin.
Yeah.
So it's weird to have shows that large censored. And then following all the declassification, Trump and Tulsi, who is the one who ordered it, by the way, suggested the plan was used to target political opponents. They pointed out the timing post J6 and its focus on anti-government groups as evidence of partisan narratives. Some security experts question the plan's practicality, noting that its broad scope and reliance on interagency coordination could lead to bureaucratic inefficiencies as well. Like CSIS has noted, without clear metric for success, the plan risks being more symbolic than anything else. So it's kind of just laying the groundwork for future enforcement is what they were doing. But,
Are you surprised by any of this? Because I'm not.
No, of course not. And this
we were this close.
Yeah.
So locking it all down, pronouns, the whole shit, everything across the board.
Yeah, I mean, some states are still doing it. Like a couple of states recently have passed language. Colorado, for example, that if you misgender your own child, they can fucking be taken away from you. That's a form of child abuse. Like if my child says, "Hey, I think I'm a different gender," they're getting hit in the face. Lightly.
Sure,
like, hey,
sure.
just like, hey, wake up.
Yeah.
Go fucking do your homework, dipshit. We don't have time for this. We got things to do. That is a problem of bored people. So give that kid some work to do, and they'll shut the fuck up about it. But yeah, I've said this many times before. The sign of a good law is clear, concise, and enforceable. Clear, and that it applies, or clear, and that it's very obvious what it applies to, concise, and that it only applies to that one thing narrowly, and enforceable in that it has teeth to actually enforce it. Otherwise, it's pointless. And this is fucking pointless.
And to go back to your misgendering thing, I just watched Tim Dillon's stand-up special on Netflix, which is excellent, by the way. He went off on a rant of, because he's obviously a gay man, and he said, hey, if I were to have a kid, even as a gay man, and they said, I want to change genders, he would say, you know what I'm going to do, son? I'm going to go out there and get you that beautiful brand new pussy tonight. We're going to get you a $30,000 pussy. I'm going to have that fucking installed. We're all done. I don't want to hear one more goddamn word out of your mouth. We're chopping off your dick. We're putting on a $30,000 pussy because your dad is rich. You're going to have a beautiful fucking pussy. And when the family comes over at Christmas, you're going to pull out that $30,000 pussy. You're going to show all our family members, and I want you to show God that new $30,000 pussy that your father just bought you. And he goes, I think that's the way to do it. As soon as the kid says one thing, you have to immediately fucking do it because they're the kid. And I agree with that. And excellent special, by the way, Tim. But yeah, all of this shit would have kept going. I don't, by the way, going back to what I said about fucking YouTube and Facebook and Zuckerberg and all these other guys, I don't think this is really going to change all that much. Like unless 28 happens, unless you can roll this into another administration, I think all these motherfuckers across the board are just gambling on whatever's going to happen in 28. Because this is the first time in a long time, or fuck, Bobby, you can bring up when the last time it's happened. When have we had a guaranteed only 4-year president? Now, I'm not talking about Biden, who jumped out of the race, 3 months before.
Well, any second term, so Bush's second term and Obama's second term.
But for one guy, that was just like... Never, right?
Yeah.
Never, because Garfield did it, but that was before the term limit in the Constitution.
Yeah.
So I think this is what the hedge is right now, is like, all right, we'll get somebody in there in 28 and fuck it. Like, we don't have to really abide by this shit.
That's why they're fighting so hard to keep all these illegals in the country, to affect the census.
Garfield got fucking shot,
Sorry,
you
Cleveland.
moron.
Cleveland.
Yeah. Don't you do that to Garfield, all right?
That's why he hates Mondays.
Garfield. It sure is, dude.
Yeah, he got shot by, what was that dude's name? He was crazy as shit. Guiteau,
yeah.
Charles Guiteau.
That's back when you could just go up to the White House and try to have a conversation with the president.
You could.
Hey. I don't like your fucking mustache.
Sure don't. Even the early 70s, Delco, my grandmother wrote the president a letter. I think it was 70 or 71. And he fucking responded she wrote a hand.
Which
letter.
President?
So who was
That would have been Nixon.
Yeah.
Oh, because.
And wrote the letter back and said, hey, like, how fucked is that?
If it was. So Nixon's fine, but if it was JFK or Jumbo.
It wasn't JFK.
You might get a fucking dick pic.
Well,
along with that photo.
That's what I was hoping
along
for.
with the signature, I mean.
So, yeah, it was 70, 71. Wrote the president a handwritten letter asking for something. President wrote back and said, okay.
I thought you were about to say your grandma was Squeaky Fromm.
I wish. I fucking wish, dude. Don't we all kind of want that in our family? Just some dinner topic of a goddamn family member who's just batshit crazy, and we're like, yes, let's go there, dude. Who you related to? Do you have something? Do you have something to fucking hang on to there? God damn it, man. A nice fucking terrorist or somebody like a Ted Kaczynski. Now, I'm not saying what he did was right. However, looking back on it, if that was your relative and you brought that up at a dinner time thing, or you had some people over in the neighborhood of like, hey, man, you related to anybody famous? Yeah, Ted Kaczynski's my uncle. You'd be like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You don't say.
And then you could say, like, for me personally, I was never a fan of the terrorism that Kaczynski did, but I did enjoy the math.
Yeah. Which to this day has been studied.
Yeah.
And there's been numerous Hulu docs and things on. So, yeah. Man.
And I'm a very, I guess you could say, glass half full kind of guy.
You always have been.
Yeah, I'm always looking for the good in people.
Nobody's ever accused you of anything else.
Yeah. And I think there's value there. Or was, I guess. But
now I do too. So with Biden, I don't want to do this story and just shit on Biden completely, because there is some things that, he's trying to get right. And he's back out on the trail.
Yeah, he's on the trail.
Bob, do you have that video that you can play for us?
He's finally starting to talk like us.
He's switched out of I'm no longer the president, I'm who I really am.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and take a listen here. And I'm sure the Democrats were amped that he got back out on the trail by himself without any help here. Play this clip.
And I'd never seen hardly any black people in Scranton at the time I was only going in the 4th grade. And I remember seeing the kids going by at the time called colored kids on a bus going by. And I had never seen.
Now, colored kids is where, man, that's a line that, and surprisingly, I didn't hear anybody from the left like going, holy shit. Obviously, nobody from the right did, but with that, you and I, by the way, it's the second famous person in under, 7 days for us that we've heard that from?
Yeah.
Who is white?
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with it. As a matter of fact, I'm starting to suspect Biden listens to our show.
Maybe. And like, look, if you want to call me honky or whitey, what else is a good racial slur for like
chalky?
I'm fine with it. Chalky's fine.
I like chalky.
Yeah.
Snowback, but that's more Canadian.
Okay.
Like wetback, but
yeah.
Canadians. Yeah, stuff like that.
Fat fellas have been bringing the snow bunnies back.
Yeah, they're
with
funny.
White chicks, they're great, dude.
Yeah, they're really funny.
So, yeah, man, I don't really give a shit. But Biden's now that he's out, he's just being who he is, you know. And he's calling kids colored again.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you can explain to me the functional difference between the phrase "colored people" and "people of color," then I'll play your little game. But until you don't, or until you do that, then I'm not participating in this nonsense. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to.
And I understand it. So Biden's out there. He's fighting the good fight.
He's bringing it back.
Right now. He is.
He's bringing it back.
He's saying, "Hey, I think maybe I overcorrected for 4 years, and I should probably go back toward the other way."
Yeah.
And he went a hard right on that one.
Somebody said chalk demon.
Chalk demon, I like a lot. Holy shit, dude.
Chalky is one that I got from Squidbillies. If you're not familiar with that, you probably shouldn't be because nobody should ever watch it. What?
Is that Gary back there on the floor?
Why are you in the floor?
Jesus Christ, dude. I tried to get you on camera earlier, dude. You went right out the back door and shit on the there or something? What happened?
Yeah. Sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Round Eye. So there's
Round Eye. Yeah.
There's another. So you know Rooftop Koreans, right?
Yep.
They have one of the guys who was one of the Rooftop Koreans has a pretty decent Twitter following now.
Okay.
And they have this merch. I think they're making it. If they're not, we're going to make it. It says Rooftop Koreans Round Eye Brigade. And it's
I like that.
It's like the white people that work with the Rooftop Koreans.
Yeah.
That right there is American synergy.
I don't mind when an Asian calls me a Round Eye.
Bring them all together to make sure that community stays safe. I want Koreans on rooftops with M1 rifles.
Fuck yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? And maybe some grenades.
Why not? Gare Bear, you got a street gonzo you just shot in Denver? How did that go?
Oh, we figured it out.
Okay.
God damn it.
What were you trying to figure out in the first place?
You sent us on a wild goose chase.
Did I really? So that statue in Denver that Bob always talks about is a lie?
Oh, no, it's real.
Oh, it is real. Okay.
Oh, it's real.
So did you guys get to talk to the family? Because the rumor is that the airport's haunted. The fucking large steel horse that is out in front of it killed the actual artist of the horse. Is that true?
The family doesn't live in Denver.
Where do they live?
In New Mexico.
Okay.
You sent us on a wild goose chase.
So how did he get there then? How did he get to Denver to make the statue?
I don't know.
Okay, great.
But look, we figured it all out.
So what'd you figure out then exactly,
I don't
Gary?
remember.
Okay, great.
But I remember we figured it out.
Okay, great. So we can look forward to that episode coming out
let me
soon.
tell you something.
Sure.
We I don't know where Joel is, but I think we lost our minds a little bit.
You did. You took mushrooms before getting on a flight home that you were on for 8 hours, and wouldn't have recommended that at all.
Well, look, man.
There's
a lot of things I do that people don't recommend.
No, I get it. I get it.
But we did break the law.
Okay.
And we got up to the statue, and we got you your outro at the statue.
Did you really?
Yes. And
let's not give that up then. Let's wait for the show to come out.
Well, I don't even remember what to give up, but
were you fucked up?
Oh, bud.
All right, because what I asked of him was a big ask.
Dude, it's the.
I'm surprised he didn't get arrested.
One. It's the weirdest one we've ever done.
All right.
I think
I'll put it this way for the audio listeners right now who can't see what he looks like. There was a text I got from you that said, "What is the bail limit for Drinkin Bros? And is it still $5,000?" And I said, "Yes." However, I wanted to see you on that goddamn thing, and that would be worth the $5K. So, all right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We really got in touch with the roots of America.
No, I appreciate it. And I'll let you gather your thoughts there for a couple days there. Get some sleep, Gare Bear. You look great. I wouldn't even sleep. I would just get a bag and start going into the next day.
You know what? Let me put it this way. It's really bright in here.
I bet it is. Bright lights, big city.
Bright lights, big city.
Big city. That'll lead us to our next sponsor here. That is AmericanFinancing.net /Drinkin Bros. Prices for the last few years have been and continue to be high, and most people unfortunately have to reach for credit cards to cover bills. Credit card debt has reached an all-time high, and it's trapping Americans. American Financing can help homeowners pay off high-interest debt by using their home's equity. American Financing is a family-owned mortgage lender that's been around for 25 years. American Financing is licensed in all 50 states. Their mortgage consultants are salary-based, so there's no reason to put you in a loan just to do it, or some incentive, or any of that other bullshit that doesn't make any sense. Their customers, on average, save $800 a month when they call and let American Financing help them. We've used them 3 times in the show. We're in the middle of a 4th, actually, right now. And they don't charge any upfront or hidden fees to find out how much you can save. You may be able to close in as fast as 10 days. Ours is right, this new one's sitting right on the crest of that, so that's true. And you may be able to delay up to 2 mortgage payments, creating more savings up front. They've helped hundreds of thousands of homeowners create meaningful savings, and that's reflected in their reviews on Google. Call 866-887-2275. That's 866-887-2275 or AmericanFinancing.net/DrinkinBros. Disclaimer. Gotta read it here. It's NMLS 182334 at www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. And that's just to look up the company and all that fun stuff. Bob puts the links in the video description and the audio description, so you're good to go. If you can't remember what I just said, that's understandable. Next up, and they also might come for your guns. The plan explicitly calls for legislation measures to address gun violence as part of its strategy to confront long-term contributors to domestic terrorism. It advocates for banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, which links to the ability of domestic terrorists to carry out mass casualty attacks. This is going on in Denver.
Yeah.
So to pull this back to actually the whole state of Colorado, but to pull this back to Gary and those guys. And this we've known for years, at least I have.
Yeah, and it's the strategy that I laid out before, it's exactly this. Terrorism exists is point 1. Domestic terrorism is on the rise is point 2. And then here are the tools that terrorists use, right? They use anonymity, so we've got to have a federal ID system like Real ID, or they use certain types of guns, so we have to fucking ban those guns, blah, 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 right? So create fear and then adjudicate law afterwards. That's their plan. Obviously, this is a direct assault on the Second Amendment, and no surprise coming from the left. That's what they always do. The plan highlights the role of firearms in domestic terrorist incidents, noting that, quote, access to firearms enables lone actors and small cells to execute attacks. Obviously, this language unfairly associates all gun owners with terrorism. It's fucking nonsense. Now, the plan's emphasis on intelligence collection and information sharing across federal, state, and local agencies is also one of the things that's been happening recently. For instance, the plan encourages FBI, DOJ to improve data collection on domestic terrorism, but they're calling domestic terrorists gun owners and Catholic moms, right? And the only reason to do this is to create a national gun registry, which they're trying to do with the ATF still right now. And there's 1 billion records that have not been deleted, and they're supposed to. It is a violation of federal law to create a gun registry in this country, period. Hard stop.
I want to go back to what you said about Real ID, because this just came up 48 hours ago for me.
Mm-hmm.
Booking flights for all of us. We are doing a live show for the Kentucky Derby down there for my bookie on Friday, so that's May 2nd. The reason I'm telling you this exact date is that Real ID kicks in on the 7th. And so when I was booking flights, my wife was like, hey, you probably don't have the goddamn Real ID. There's no way.
If
right?
if you've gotten your ID updated in the last 2 to 5 years, depending on what state you're in, almost certainly you have a Real ID now.
Okay, so I do, and we had a good laugh about it because I didn't even know what it is. She actually had to tell me it came with like a yellow star or something. Can you tell the audience why we have to have a Real ID? Because I've been getting that question a lot.
We don't. There's literally no purpose.
I don't get it.
No, there's no purpose. Like, it's basically trying to create a passport for domestic travel. Like a standardized federal identification system, which is not in any way justified in any part of our Constitution. So fuck off.
So the
also
argument
already exists, right? A standardized federal.
Yeah, it's called a passport.
Yeah, it's called a passport. And so, like, I had this argument at the DMV when I went in to get this goddamn thing because I didn't know it was a real ID. There isn't like anything that tells you or anything that jumps out on the license where it's like, oh, real ID. It's just a yellow star apparently for the state of Texas. Although my picture's still in black and white, like we're in the 1950s here. So that part is weird to me with Texas. But with this real ID, you had to show like two forms of identification. One of those was a passport or whatever. Showed the passport, and they were like, "Well, this is expired." And they were like, "Why?" This is at the DMV here in Texas, and I go, "I'm not planning to travel overseas anytime soon."
Yeah.
So I'm in no rush right now.
Yeah, I mean, for the purposes of the real ID, the purpose is to establish that you're an actual U.S. citizen, because you can get local identification, you can get the stuff that used to be required to get a driver's license was a previous driver's license with the assumption that that state had done the background on it, or to get a new one, it would be a birth certificate, a social security card, and a bill or something that shows that that's actually your address. Now, Texas does it somewhat differently, where you give them the address and they mail the ID to that address now. That's the verification, is that you send it to the address and you have to be there to actually collect it. Otherwise,
if you're in the system, right?
Yeah,
so like, yeah. So for me, because of COVID and all that other shit, the wait here was like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and if you, this is the solution. If you're out there and you don't want to participate in this gay shit, and it is fucking pointless, by the way. There's
real ID?
Yeah, there's no point to this. Just have a passport. Have a passport and use that when you travel on planes. The end. And keep your old ID. Who cares?
Yeah, I couldn't figure that out either.
I don't know why the Trump administration decided all of a sudden to enforce this, frankly, because it's not going to fucking stop anything.
This was enforced like 2 years ago. I saw the warnings on all my shit.
The bill was signed in 2006, but the part of this is part of the reasons that they've given for this is that it's going to stop illegal immigrants from being able to do some of the traveling they were doing. Well, we did the stories on this. We know how this went down. They weren't using fake IDs. The airlines were working with the federal government illegally to move these people around with no identification.
Correct.
That's what was actually happening.
And there was a separate lane. There still is at Austin Airport, by the way, that they'll shuttle them through without any identification.
Yeah, DHS was printing off one of those, like when you get a temporary driver's license, but it's just information they've not verified.
No.
It's like some Guatemalan or fucking El Salvadoran that says, "Oh, my name's fucking Susie Hernandez. Here's my picture. What's up?"
Yeah. My name's Diego. I'm a Maryland father and totally innocent.
Boom.
Yeah.
Just like this. This is how, I don't know why they did this for all the pictures, but
every single one.
It's all a bunch of fucking retarded nonsense. None of it makes any sense, to be honest. So I don't know why they're pushing it now. But yeah, back to the, and if you don't want to participate, that's the easy solution.
But here's why I brought this up. Is this because they're trying to track you for everything, guns, travel, all that other shit?
I mean, it is an encroachment into a deeper police state, yeah. Why are we giving the government more opportunities to track where we are?
I have to take a photo at the airport. You're in a separate line.
You don't have to do that. You can
I know. And I always, opt out of it. But
you should always opt out.
The way they talk to you is if you do have to do it. Like, you're the fucking idiot of like, hey, man, why don't you just take the picture?
Yeah,
like,
because
I don't really get it.
the people that work for TSA have no idea what's happening. All they know is it's a new security measure. What's happening is they're recording picture after picture after picture of your face so they can get hundreds of pictures of your face so they can fucking identify you from a very long distance away from any angle. They're mapping the fucking geometric shape of your face. That's what that program is.
To blow you up with an AI drone or something?
Maybe, but certainly to track you, even if you're wearing a tight ball cap or fucking hood up or whatever.
Yeah.
They want to be able to recognize every single little part of your face so they can track you everywhere you go. So don't participate in that shit. And because it's illegal, like there's no constitutional basis for that, just like there's no constitutional basis for tracking what guns I may or may not have. The government's not entitled to know that information about me. Fuck you.
Right.
Right? Like that doesn't make any sense. Now, the other stuff, the way this law was written is clearly designed to associate all gun ownership with domestic terrorism. That was their long-term play. And listen very carefully to this. It's not my responsibility or my problem, as my friend Ronnie Atkins, who we've had on the show before, would say, it's not my responsibility what someone might do with their rights. That's not my problem.
Yep.
Like this hypothetical of what some group or another or individual or another might do with their constitutional right has no bearing on my exercising my constitutional right. Fucking period. That's their problem. And let's be really clear about this. I don't give a shit if there's a mass shooting every single day. I don't care. You aren't taking my guns. You're not limiting my right to carry them when and where the fuck I want. Period. And I don't want to hear any of this shit anymore from liberals running their fucking suckholes about, oh, they're not coming for your guns. This is a coordinated effort to disarm people, to disarm the population, and any material attempt, be very clear about this as well, any material attempt to do this will be met with an armed revolution, and you can put that in your fucking domestic terrorism report. Write that down. That's a quote, Dan Hollaway. Fuck you.
And on the other side of this, if you're on the left, you can look at the abortion issue the same way and be like, well, hey, man, they're not going to do anything. And then, yeah, they will. So it's just the government in fucking general with all this shit. And I don't know why I have a fucking real ID. I don't even know what this is fucking for. I don't know why we have to have it now. The picture thing at the airport makes sense. Yes, that is probably the eventual goal of all of this. They're even doing it in NFL stadiums as well, where you got to take a picture to go in and everything. And it's just like, okay, cool, man. I think it's like a Black Mirror sitch where, you know, in 30 years, they want to have all your shit. And then if you do something wrong, they'll just kind of pick you off from the sky. And it'll be one shot to the dome, and then you're dead at that point.
Yeah,
which might not be the worst thing.
No, well, I mean, it's more humane that way.
We'd suffer less, I guess. Yeah. But yeah.
But this is like a clear escalation from the left, for real. To try to codify all these different things into one omnibus Department of Justice strategy to disarm people and disenfranchise their right to speech, that is a huge step forward in the police state. Like, that's a huge problem.
Well, you see what's going on in England? Australia doesn't have any guns. They were locked down for, 3 years? They couldn't do anything.
Not just England, the entire UK.
Yep.
And actually the entire Commonwealth, because Canada's involved in that shit too.
Yep. And then when you get stabbed or you're in the street or whatever, then they want to blunt the knives or whatever the fuck's going to happen there. However, they won't police those areas where it's actually going on and all that other shit. So, yeah. Make your own fucking decisions out there, as I always say. Next up, Pentagon Leaker identified one of the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's leading advisors, Dan Caldwell, was escorted from the Pentagon on Tuesday after being identified during an investigation into leaks at the Department of Defense. A U.S. official told Reuters. Bob, if you can pull up his picture, it's pretty funny here. I can't believe that this is a real person who's working at the White House, but there we are. I mean, this is fucking haunting me. Like, I almost think we should leave this up on the screen for 5 minutes, dude, and just dare people to stare at this guy's eyes.
Here's what we need to do, and and it's not fair, frankly. It's not fair, but I feel like we need to do it. Life's not always fair. We either have to find a medical solution for butthole eyes or ban butthole eyes from being in public. One of those two things.
But that's encroaching on people's right to have butthole eyes.
No, you don't have a right. There's nothing in the Constitution that says you have a right to have butthole eyes.
But that doesn't say you can either.
Yeah, so there you go.
So
we need to adjudicate it now.
This guy, pop him up one more time, Bob. I've never seen somebody so confident in having butthole eyes that they're willing to stare down the barrel like that. Usually, it's kind of a glance down.
Yeah, Pete Davidson knows
or a look off to the right or the left. You never want to stare down the barrel of a camera with butthole eyes like this. He is living in my fucking soul right now.
Pete Davidson knows he's a piece of shit. And if you look him straight in the eyes, he'll avert his gaze.
Exactly.
This guy right here is looking right down the barrel.
Look at that. God
Put him back
damn
up
it,
there.
It's haunting me. Look at, I hope you're watching this on your flat screen at home, on your 75-inch, 100 if you're fucking rich, dude. If you're Gail King out there. I hope this butthole eyes guy is staring you right in the fucking mouth right now. You're probably going to do something you don't want to do later.
You might get the call of the void.
Jump right off the roof.
Right off, go up to your roof, and you have a picture of him, and you just follow that picture right off the edge.
Yep. Walk upstairs, take the Minecraft sheets off your kid's bed, wrap it around your shoulders, and fly right off the third fucking story, dude.
Now, if I were you, I would wrap them around my neck.
Well,
because
it's one way.
The impact is not going to be fun.
But the strangulation will be. Yeah. If you can go to completion.
Yeah, and if somebody sees you, and look, you got to choose your accoutrement wisely. I think I've always said this.
Mm-hmm.
If you're strangle baiting with something weird, people are not going to come help you and participate even, right?
No.
But if you wrap, Minecraft's hot right now.
Very popular. You
wrap Minecraft sheets around your neck and start pounding off, somebody's going to show up and help you.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I'm almost convinced of that.
It might be a guy named Steve. That's a Minecraft reference there for everybody. But with this guy, how do they catch him exactly?
That I don't know, to be honest.
Because there was 2 other people, I believe, that got fired as well over the course of the last 24 hours in relation to this. Did this have anything to do with the Atlantic story?
That's probably likely, yeah.
The guy in the Atlantic?
So they've been looking at leakers all over the place. A March 2021, or I'm sorry.
Pushers or leakers?
Either way. March 21 memo signed by Hegseth, Hegseth's chief of staff, Joe Casper, requested info into, quote, recent unauthorized disclosures of national security information involving sensitive communications. Casper's memo left open the possibility of a polygraph, blah, blah, blah. Although Caldwell is not well known, he has played a critical role in advising Hegseth, which is really interesting because Hegseth was like a huge, in the 2010, 11, 12 area, super big support. He was working at a nonprofit then, but super big supporter of the Iraq war still. I don't know what his real position on that is now, frankly, but clearly that was the wrong position to take because that was a fucking huge mess. And Caldwell agrees. He's been he's an isolationist guy to a large degree, somewhat similar to myself. So some of the stuff.
Butthole Eyes here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of the stuff he's said publicly that people are talking about now are pretty wide stream beliefs on the right, libertarian side, and on like the anti-war right. We don't want to. It's not anti-war. We just don't want to be in everybody else's wars.
Right.
You know what I mean? But clearly, they wouldn't have done this and made it public unless he leaked some pretty serious information, and I'm not sure exactly what it was yet, to be honest.
I was going to ask, but looking at this guy, he probably gave up everything, didn't he? Bob, pop that pick up one more time.
It's also like, he was clearly talking to the press and not a foreign agency, because if he was talking to a foreign agency, he would have been arrested, not dismissed.
Correct.
Right, so we can at least say that much. I think that's a reasonable conclusion to draw from this.
And obviously his eyes.
Yeah. And he was one of the guys. So there was 2 main dudes mentioned during the signal leak stuff.
Okay.
One of them was that dude that had the Asian Chinese wife or whatever the fuck. And we gave him a lot of heat. Maybe he's part of this. Maybe he was uninvolved. I don't know. But this guy, the rumor on the street, the word on the street is he was involved in that signal leak somehow. I don't know to what degree or what the fuck's going on there. Well, but we'll find out over the coming weeks.
Yeah, I mean, what was his exact quote here? I think the Iraq War was a monstrous crime back in December of 2024. So,
I mean, he's not wrong.
No, not at all.
It was not just a crime against Iraq, but also the American people and the $8 trillion we spent.
But to Dan's point, if he would have done something illegal, he'd be arrested and in prison right now versus just getting fired. So, not sure yet. I will get the real story here probably in the next 2 weeks. But right now, Butthole Eyes is free on his own accord to go out and get a Minecraft Happy Meal or whatever the fuck he's going to do tonight. So good for him, dude. Proud of you. Proud of you, Butthole Eyes. Next up, sponsor-wise, guys, here's why your hormones suck. If you're listening to this, then chances are you may be one of the countless guys who are struggling to see the results in the gym, in the mirror, or even in the bedroom. Yeah. Most guys are focused on testosterone. However, that's only 50% of the answer. Without adequate growth hormone and its end result growth factors, you can't optimally absorb the testosterone you have, no matter if it's synthetic or natural. That's where BioPro Plus comes in. BioPro Plus fills in what you're missing out on to help maximize your performance in the gym, how you look in the mirror without any of the needles, side effects, or doctor visits, all at a fraction of the cost of synthetic treatments. BioPro Plus is getting real guys, real results, really fast. And if you want to check them out, go on over to bioproteintech.com. Use that promo code Drinkin Bros to get $30 off your first order. We've used this for over a year now. It's just 30 vials show up to your house.
It's legit stuff too.
Once a month, you pop it underneath your tongue. either in the morning or before 9, up to you. I know the box is morning. I sleep better on it, so fuck it. That's what I've been taking it. But it's up to you. You live your life, dude, just like Rihanna says, okay? You make your own decisions, but I know that I enjoy bioproteintech.com, and I did use my own promo code, Drinkin Bros, for $30 off. And once again, Bob will put the link in the video and audio description over there. Next up, Boston Mayor. Well, literal communist. What do we...
Yeah, so...
How far are you going there with this one?
Well, one of her primary bundlers. We know what that word means now, right?
Yeah.
Does everybody follow politics enough to know what that means?
I feel like we do at this point, and the sad thing is I wish I didn't.
Yeah, it's like a fundraiser, basically. So it's somebody that... almost like a campaign finance chair for one of the two committees, Republican and Democratic committees, but for an individual candidate. You call them a bundler. And they will hit the streets and ask people for money. So the main bundler for Michelle Wu, the Democratic mayor of Boston, the one that's like anti-America.
She hates everything.
She hates anything
She's been
America.
on the show a million times,
Yeah.
and like, I shouldn't even know the fucking mayor of Boston's name, for Christ's sakes.
No.
I didn't even have to look down and tell you it was Michelle Wu.
Well, the mayor of Boston should be a white, freckled dude that did not go to college. That's my opinion.
Or let's go Marky Mark and have a hate crime in his past.
Oh, either way.
I think Mark Wahlberg.
I think I implied that with what I said at first.
Just making sure.
So the Daily Caller reported that Boston International Media Consulting founder Gary Yu, who was her primary bundler, assisted in raising over $300,000 for her in the last election, is also his Chinese name is Yu. Some fucking stupid. Where is the music?
You crank that Soldier Boy. There we go. Come on, dude. It's been a while.
Yeah, so Yu is listed as an official with an agency of the United Front Work Department, UFWD, a Chinese Communist Party influence and intelligence service. Like a direct employee of the CCP is the primary bundler for Michelle Wu, mayor of Boston. Oh, my God. The House Select Committee on Chinese Communist Party described United Front Work as, quote, a unique blend of engagement, influence activities, and intelligence operations that the CCP uses to shape its political environment, including to influence other countries' policy toward the PRC, People's Republic of China, and to gain access to advanced foreign technology. So if you're one of those tech companies, old school, like MIT, for example, that's in the area.
Yeah,
or
right down the road.
Or Harvard that's in the area that develops a lot of fucking intellectual property, and you're wondering how China keeps ending up with it. You just figured it out, brother. I
mean,
good for you,
man. And most of those guys are coming over from China.
Yeah.
To get into school there.
We should not allow one Chinese person in any of our universities. Why the Christ are we allowing that? Well, we know for an absolute fact that they steal about $600 billion worth of our intellectual property a year.
I'm not sure.
I don't understand it. So the Central UFWD reports directly to the CCP's Central Committee, is the, quote, lead organization for coordinating and carrying out United Front work, both inside and outside of China, and oversees United Front work departments of provincial and local party committees, as well as those subordinate to party committees and companies, research institutes, et cetera. So the primary organization overseeing all of the intellectual property theft and information operations that CCP is conducting inside the United States is their board member is raising money openly for the mayor of Boston.
Yeah.
So do with that whatever you want, I guess.
And also, these Asians with the last names here in this article in particular, these are just the lyrics to Soldier Boy. Crank that song. You! Woo! You! But there is no... Oh! In that song whatsoever. So, maybe mix it up. If you want to hire a John Puya to the staff or something like that, be great for the show. That's all we're saying. We know you're a communist. We know the people that you're working for are communists. All that's fine. You're not going to change, right?
Yep.
Never change. Stay sweet, stay the same. Stay cool this summer, obviously. And then just add a fucking Puyang. Anyone, Andrew Puyang, to your fucking depth chart there, so that we can have some fun on this show if you're going to sell us out. That's all we ask for.
This guy, also donated about $46,000 personally since 2018 to various Massachusetts Democratic politicians.
$46K? It's not. I mean, that's not a crazy amount.
That's directly
right
using his own name, while his name is also on a CCP charter.
Sure.
Right? You see how that might be a problem?
No,
like if you went to OpenSecrets.org and you started seeing Osama bin Laden pop up as a donor to a bunch of people, that might be a problem.
It wouldn't be great. Maybe he sold a Honda or something. I don't know. A couple of them to come up with the cash for this. We have a picture of this fucking guy. I just want to see him, Bob. Can you pull up the fuck's his name? His Chinese name is Yu.
Good luck.
Guaoliang.
Just fire some pots and pans down a hallway.
And let's see what happens here. I just want to see what he looks like. Because we went hard after Butthole Eyes earlier. And now I want to see this chipper fuck. Look at him, dude. Holy shit.
I want to see if it's him. Okay, yeah.
Is it? Wait, the guy on the right or the left?
Left. This guy.
What about the guy on the right?
Well, this is from that's Xiaodin Huang, I don't know.
Oh, on the right?
Yeah, but this is from...
we didn't have a Huang in the article. I would have remembered. I don't want to get caught with my Huang in my hand, obviously, on this one. So now this guy, pop him up here. This looks like the donger needs food. That's a colorful tie, friends. That should not be worn out in public, and that is definitely a Men's Warehouse suit. You can get away with it at that size because they don't have to cut too much out of the back there. That's probably just a youth small for somebody like that. Maybe going to a First Communion in Boston.
Everything is a youth small on this guy, though.
Yeah.
Because he has no shoulders. You can see it right there.
This is a donger needs food sitch here. Fuck.
Yeah.
You know, you show up with a smile like that, it lights up a room, and it's, 45 grand. 45 grand. Not a hint of racism on the show ever, by the way, ever. Next up, here's where we start having internet issues, I feel like, right? Should we warn everybody? We got 15 listeners in the show. At least you guys are here, so we'll be able to witness this together, okay? And I like this. Google has illegally built monopoly power with its web advertising business. A federal judge in Virginia has ruled, siding with the Justice Department in a landmark case against the tech giants that could reshape the basic economics of running a modern website. The ruling that Google violated antitrust law marks the U.S. government's second major court victory over Google in less than a year, amid claims the company has illegally monopolized key parts of the internet ecosystem, including the online search, which we all know that is true because you can buy or sell your way up to the top of that fucking thing, and is the third such decision since a federal jury in December 2023 found that Google's proprietary app store is also an illegal monopoly. Taken together, the trio of decisions highlights the breadth of trouble Google faces, raising the prospect of sweeping penalties that could reshape multiple aspects of its business, though ongoing and expected appeals will likely take years to play out. All right, I know the answer to this one, by the way. Google does not care. They don't care how much the fines are, what they get hit with, if they're found guilty, if they're not found guilty. They know what they're doing. This is all deliberate. They will stretch this out as long as possible. They will write a big fat check because they have that money in the accounts, and they do not give a fuck. Same with Facebook, same with Meta, whatever the fuck we're calling it, and everything else here. So they don't give a shit. The only thing they're trying to do with this, yes, they have a monopoly on everything, all the way around. But if you can stall, delay, potentially get your people in to office, this will all go away. Or let's say a repube gets in 28 again. They'll write a big fat check, get out of that one too, and it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out over the years. The difference, I suppose, now is that you have competing interests at the top. So it was that Dorsey and the Google turds and Zuck were all kind of on the same team. Like they were competitors in the marketplace, but as far as censorship goes and cozying up to the government and censoring on their behalf to maintain their monopolies in the respective towers there, they were all playing the same game. Now you've got people like Elon, who is a fucking, not a great person, but does great things sometimes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't go to him for parenting advice, probably.
No.
But as far as running a business or anything like that, pretty smart guy, right? Same thing with Nicole Shanahan, who's ironically Sergey Brin's ex, who ran with RFK Jr. She's like, if you guys keep censoring, especially like she's on the Maha part, but especially if you keep censoring medical information, I'm going to use these billions of dollars I have to fuck up your campaign. So good luck. So now there's a counterbalance at the top, which is really funny that all of a sudden, now to his credit, Bernie Sanders has been using the same fake line about oligarchies for the last 25 years, 30 years. But now they're on tour taking a $15,000 an hour private jet to go to all of them.
Their public speaking fees?
Yeah,
oh my God,
it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So they're on this anti-oligarchy tour.
Very financially successful.
It's very ironic that it popped up now that finally some of the oligarchs are actually fighting for anti-censorship and free trade and free market entrepreneurship and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
it's very funny to me that that's how it's going down.
I even know the answer to this because we live in a big tech town. Dan and I live amongst all these tech people. So they're neighbors and whatnot and everything else. In regards to Google or Facebook or any Twitter too, I'll throw Elon in the mix for sure. It's AI. That is the big money maker. That is the end all be all. This is all they fucking care about. They're going to stay in these lanes, break every rule they can. The guardrails, by the way, are off. That was the exact quote that I've heard from not only Meta, but Google as well of like, hey, how do we make this NVIDIA money right now, dude? How do we make that kind of fucking money? Grok and the system that Twitter's using and everything else. Some people have argued that Elon has potentially bought Twitter back in the day just simply to advance the AI and all this other shit. I don't know enough about it.
When you say some people, you mean me. Because I'm the one that said that.
But also some of the other people from Google and Meta have said the same thing. And
yeah, because they're mad that he's now playing the same game they've already been playing. So fuck those guys.
Yes.
Right?
But they're all, here's the weird thing about it, is they're all in, let's just take the three of those because those are the only ones that I can kind of confirm right now, like pretty much. With almost full certainty here, guys. I'm gonna try not to get sued, but with that, they've also divided their businesses and their practices because they're fighting the same race for the same amount of money in the same exact category.
Which race?
AI.
Oh, I thought you meant
this race for AI. No, it's not the white race. They don't care about it.
Oh no. Well, I mean, yeah, I'll fight anybody.
No, I know you will. But they're fighting this AI race toward the top to however much money they can make for their stocks and everybody else and what that's going to be. Now, on the Google side, I can tell you what that is. It is movies, it is commercials, it is advertising. This will tie into this exact article that because Dan writes the news every week, that you have written here today. So, with this AI shit, we've been teased about this sort of shit for a while, right? Mm-hmm. Hasn't come out. Some of the things we've seen have kind of been cool, but not really there yet and everything else. There is another version already behind the scenes that is even fucking 10 times better than this that I got a chance to view the other day, and I was fucking mind altered. Now, why is that so important? Because they can knock out the entire advertising industry altogether. Then, not even going to Google to get at the top of the search on google.com or whatever the fuck you enter in, but then you can hire them out for their AI services to create your commercials to you, to bump you into the same fucking algorithm to the top of Google, all while making all the money for them in your commercials and everything else. Yeah. I know because I asked about Hard AF Seltzer. Me personally, I don't want to fly to LA anymore and shoot commercials for 4 months 4 weeks and deal with these assholes and pay everybody and all this other crazy shit. We're getting very, very close to that, and I've been assured that it's going to happen here in the next 18 months, that this is going to drop, and it's going to get even fucking worse.
I think in the next 18 months for people that are uninitiated, but for people like us that know how to make commercials, it'll be in the next 6.
Yes.
Right? Like, because it's all about knowing the construct.
Correct.
Once you do that and you figure out what the prompts for that particular engine are, then it's bulls on parade. You can almost do it now, just cost prohibitive.
Fat Fellows, who I brought up earlier, has used it to, this was a no-name, no-person account who was just a funny writer and everything else. They have used it to rocket up all their socials. I see them everywhere across the board. And I think this is what's going to happen in all these companies. My personal prediction. With Google, you're going to have to use their AI services for advertising and everything else, along with their SEO to get to the top of that. Facebook is also working on this as well, or Meta, or whatever the fuck we're calling that company. So for Instagram and Facebook itself, for Meta, you're going to have to use their AI services to bump you to the top of their algorithm feeds and all that other shit. Twitter, Elon is going to use this for Grok and everything else, so that way you've got to use Grok to bump to the top of their shit. And they are all in the exact same race right now. They do not give a fuck about cutting these checks, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Now, eventually, the government's going to have to step in, but I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I really don't. Right now, I'm surprised there's not a YouTube lawsuit on the fucking table day one. That's what we were promised.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly that would be, I guess from the DOJ standpoint, it would be, well, what are the chances we have to win this? What would be the effect of winning it?
Money, a big check, and that's honestly, that's all I can think of. Because who are you really outing behind the scenes when everybody's doing it?
Yeah, everybody's doing the same thing, and so I think this is. It would be like if, Bob, have you guys ever done a show on the guy who invented the steam engine and how he tried to sue everybody for trying to use it?
Robert Fulton?
No.
Yeah, Robert Fulton, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he tried
You never
to
did a show on Robert Fulton?
He tried to sue everybody, and eventually, like, certainly there's some IP there.
It was patents, I think.
Yeah, it was patents. Yeah, it's like he was trying to keep people from using it.
Correct.
When the appropriate thing to do, and by the way, if he had won based on that rigid discussion of it, maybe it slows down the Industrial Revolution a little bit. Probably not, to be honest, but maybe it does. That's one of the arguments that complete free market libertarians make. But he should be compensated for coming up with the idea, I think, right? So you have to rent it from him at least. That's part of it. Now we're in a different situation. We're in a new industrial revolution style. Like the modality is changing now. We're starting new tech that's going to displace a lot of stuff economically, or at least realign it. We should be looking at how to manage that as a group. If everybody's already doing the same thing, like everybody's already making their own version of the steam engine now.
Mm-hmm.
So our goal should be to try to fucking incentivize the best possible steam engine outcome, or even diversity in steam engine, whatever it happens to be. So let's say AI. Sora's really good at doing this thing. Okay, cool. So make them, when they apply for their patents on it, like we have these 27 classes of patents, right, that you can apply for. One of them is just broadly speaking technology. I think we need to update patent law to say we do this specifically with our AI. Right?
Yes.
And then Google does this specifically with their AI, and then Twitter does this specifically with their AI. You're going to have to start doing something like that because everybody's already in the game.
Yeah, and by the way, just from talking about this, and Bob, this will go back to Ross Patterson Revolution earlier with those breastfeeding videos we were talking about on Instagram. This was immediately sent to me. Can I send this just to you on Instagram or no?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it? Just share to Bob? I don't really do that all that much.
Yeah, hit the share thing, and then it'll say you can bring up my name.
Okay. Actually, just go to Fat Fellas. This is from 2 hours ago. Because this is Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, who, obviously, Two Bears and what's the other one? Bert Kreischer's show and Your Mom's House and all this other shit. This is AI that they just posted right now. Of them. They're not even in this fucking video here. Now, does it look a little off? Yes. But this is how fucking close we're getting with all of this shit. And if you're telling me we're not going to use all these different systems to get ahead and game the system, press play on this. I haven't seen it, by the way.
The machine himself, Bert Kreischer. We partying on a yacht drinking 64-ounce jugs of red Kool-Aid. So much sugar.
There you go.
And you know what Bert just told us? It's someone's special day. Happy birthday, Tom Segura. You may have lost the weight, but you still a fat nigga at heart. We should start a podcast and call it Two Fat Niggas, One Snow Bunny. The big boys pimped out your studio with Fat Nigga Tech, gold-plated Shure microphones and luxury recliners. We won't tell Christina about this.
Tom, you are so funny.
Happy birthday, Tom, from the Fat Niggas. Oh, shut the fuck up. It's Fat Nigga season.
So with that, look, it doesn't. They could do a little better job. We're getting close. Obviously, it looks like Tom and Bert's like 75%, I'd say. What do you think, Bob? 75?
Yeah. I think that's a solid number.
So we're only 25 away from this. Now, let's take the Kool-Aid just in this video. And we replaced it with hard AF seltzer. Or for those guys, I think they've got a vodka company going on. Like, that is the race we're in. No one cares. I think the DOJ, and let's take Pam Bondi in particular. I think this is low-hanging fruit for her personally to say, you know what, I stood up to them and I got them to pay $600 million. They don't give a baker's fuck about $600 million.
Yeah, certainly. And if it's distributed amongst some class action, that's $0 to everybody.
Yep.
And if it goes to the government, they're just going to fucking send it to Ukraine or Israel anyways, right?
Yeah.
So who fucking cares?
I was caught up in one of these AT&T things. I got $11.
Yeah, the
11.
The interesting part about this is what happens if it succeeds, and let's say the government gets what they want, and Google has to break these down into different parts, right? Like YouTube has to separate itself in some fashion from Google Ad Search, right? Which has to then separate itself in some fashion from the AI tech that's making the digital content.
Yes.
Right. What's that look like? Who buys it? And then I
don't
just
know.
Like, I haven't seen one of these successfully prosecuted in a way. When's the last time a company was broken up, Bob? Do you remember?
I can tell you. I can tell you one
into parts. Like,
I can tell you one was stopped. That I can tell you with a grocery store last year because you and
that's
I were.
Not the same thing. Though.
Totally.
This is a company that's been operating in this current fashion for 25 years.
Yes, and I've never seen it.
I've never seen one broken up.
I've seen them block a potential monopoly.
Yeah.
I've never seen them break up a monopoly. When's the last time that has happened in our?
I don't think it ever has. Honestly,
not even like back in the day with like Ford or somebody like that. Like no one,
because there were always competitors, right? Like GM was right on the heels of Ford.
Okay.
Has the DOJ ever actually broken up a monopoly? Now we wait.
Yeah.
Well, Republicans were during the Gilded Age pretty much entirely in charge when they're breaking up oil monopolies, right?
Yeah. But that was a very long time ago. I'm thinking of modern. So the most notable historical example is 1982 breakup of AT&T. The DOJ filed an antitrust lawsuit in 1974 alleging that AT&T's control over local and long-distance telephone stifled competition. The case culminated in 1982 settlement forcing AT&T to divest its regional operating companies, creating 7 independent, quote, baby bells.
Which were they?
I don't know.
Because even like thinking about AT&T today, they bought DirecTV. Obviously, that did not do well, and everybody ended up cutting the cords, so they sold that. But there's certain neighborhoods that only have AT&T.
No, not certain
internet.
Neighborhoods. Not certain neighborhoods. 83% of the United States has only one choice for cabled internet. Forget about DSL or like obviously Starlink is part of that now.
Who is it?
So you can't. No, it's like one or the other.
Okay.
They don't encroach onto each other's territory.
Right.
Which means they can just charge you whatever the fuck they want.
Because I get Spectrum in mine, and that's the only one I can fucking get in my goddamn neighborhood, and it's just like
it's
why?
Spectrum, Google, and that's it. Charter, whatever Charter used to be, is that Spectrum now?
So if they were going to break it up,
Yeah, I believe
this would have happened years ago, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we're fucked.
Yeah. So what happened? I mean, I guess if you want to look back at it, and there was some change in modality too, but if you look back at it, 82 forced the creation of these new 7 independent companies, and then an 8th in AT&T. But by the late 90s between 98 and 2013, we went from, I think, 7 or 8 cell phone companies back down to 4.
Uh-huh.
So the government just allowed them to purchase each other that whole time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's the thing. Even if they were to break up Google right now, Google has so much goddamn money, they'll wait for whatever next, like as you said, whatever next group comes into power, pay them off, and then reestablish their fucking dominance.
So there's no way out of this, in my opinion. And like I remember in Hollywood,
I mean, they've never successfully done it before, ever. That doesn't mean they can't, but they've literally never done it before in a way that was meaningful and lasting.
No.
Even with the Sherman Antitrust Act, which was what Bob was referring to as Standard Oil back in the day, they still ended up creating monopolies.
Right. And even in Hollywood, I would pass this building for auditions and all this other shit every time. It was NBC. It was NBC Universal. Then it was NBC Universal Comcast. Then it was NBC Universal Comcast.
Mountain Dew.
Something else. Yeah, exactly. And it was like 9 names on the NBC building. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man. What fucking else do you guys own here? And nobody stopped it.
No.
Nobody stopped any of it. So they're not stopping this either. Last but not least here today, UK decides what a woman is. Holy shit. That's a shocker, isn't it? In a judgment with far-reaching implications, the UK Supreme Court ruled Wednesday that a woman, someone born biologically female, and that transgender women are excluded from that legal definition. No fucking way.
Yeah, I imagine that. So
they've got footage of them coming out of the courthouse, Bob, if you can play it. It's 2 bigger gals.
Yeah, I think... what's her name from Harry Potter? J.K. Rowling was also there.
Oh, was she?
She was part of getting this into the Supreme Court in the first place. But it stems from a 2018 law passed by Scottish Parliament calling for a 50-50 balance of men and women on boards of Scottish public bodies, which is women should be in charge of anything. Its definition of women included trans women whose gender is legally affirmed with a gender recognition certificate. So you just get a separate certificate, almost like a marriage certificate to show that you cut your dick off, I guess.
Yeah.
A feminist group for Women Scotland challenged that in court, saying the Scottish government had overstepped its powers by effectively redefining the term woman. So, and then blah, blah, blah. I went through court, all this stuff. Now, they also, part of this...
Bob, I just sent it to you on Twitter.
Part of this is the judges argued that a broader definition that includes transgender people would make the Equality Act incoherent and unworkable. And then they said we can identify no good reason why the legislature should have intended that sex-based rights and protections under the Equality Act should apply to these complex heterogeneous groupings rather than the distinct group of biological women and girls, blah, blah, blah. Now, they also went on to define what a woman is, that it is not gender. So this is the phrase that mentally ill people use now, gender assigned at birth.
Uh-huh.
Right? Which is when the doctor looks and there's a dick or a pussy and says male or female.
Correct. And that's what they're assigning you on your birth certificate.
That's what a normal human being would do. They would observe and report that. Right. Now, the UK Supreme Court has changed it to genetic material, right? That your gender is decided immediately, right then, whenever the egg is fertilized.
Okay.
It takes on a particular genetic structure, XX or XY, the end.
By the way, super shocked on this.
I am too. It's crazy that this happened there, because they've been arresting people for misgendering people.
Oh, yeah.
And now how do you enforce that? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Because the Supreme Court of the UK, which is to say Ireland and Scotland and England, has now defined what a woman is.
Uh-huh.
So you cannot arrest somebody for this anymore, because you say, well, that's, according to the Supreme Court, that's not a woman. So I'm right. So you can get fucked.
Do anything about it. And when I read this story, this was the video that was attached, and I was like, so I saw the headline. It was I thought was a clickbaity headline, and then this video was underneath it, and I was like, ah, shit. With the UK, I thought this was going the other way. Bob, you can play this video here. This is women walking out of court together, and everybody celebrating at this victory.
Yeah, we're women. Look at our pussies.
Of what a woman is. And like the fact that these women even had to get together and go to Supreme Court to waste their fucking time on this bullshit.
So
holy cow.
When
dude.
you're luckily, well, here's the unfortunate part. Kill this. I don't want to hear this bitch talk. Get rid of that. All right.
Well, no, I actually, the weird thing is these women go on to say what they've been going through in Scotland, in Ireland, in England, and everywhere else.
Yeah,
and I can't believe that it had to have been said. And then we had to go to a Supreme Court.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. In years past, it might be some, I guess, relief that we'll be dead by the time historians are talking about this. But modern science is suggesting that the person, like mine and your generation, which you're older than, you're 50, 60 years older than me.
No, just turned 34, actually. Just turned 34 in February.
The range of that we're in right now are probably going to live quite a bit longer than anybody else in the history of humanity.
Do you want to?
We'll see. Depends on what's going on, what kind of trouble I can get up to.
I want that chip in my head if we're going to do that.
But the 0 to 13-year-old crowd right here are going to be functionally immortal in some ways. That's what modern science is saying, right?
Project 2045.
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah. Some of it is, yeah.
Just get us to 2045 and we're immortal.
Yeah.
Are people actually saying that?
Yeah.
If you're rich. Yeah.
If you're,
really?
Yeah, but essentially.
When is that? So that's 20 years from now. So I'll be 54. Yeah, man. I mean, sure. Why not,
that's you're gonna have to check that math, but
I'm not a fucking mathematician. I'll go to court for this.
Anyway,
okay?
well, that's why I like Ted Kaczynski, but clip that. But it used to be some relief that I wouldn't be around to see this fucking retarded nonsense adjudicated again in the court of public opinion. But now I'm going to be 180 years old, and somebody's going to, hey, fucking old dude, what the fuck? I'm like, I don't know. We lived in the dumbest period in all of human history. I don't know what else to tell you. That is an absolute fact.
It is, but here's the other fact is once this AI shit that we were talking about in the last story hits, I don't even know that the fucking people who are going to live forever are going to know who's real and who's not real.
Yeah, maybe not.
Because we're close. That fat fella's video was 75% there of complete fucking strangers that they had entered into whatever program they're using.
And we're making the leaps and bounds are.
Oh my God.
They're real now.
Yes.
Very,
very real.
Moore's law is a law that says compute versus relative size of the device. That is to say a hard drive or a GPU or something like that effectively is squared every 18 months, right? So it's divided by 2 or divided by itself, rather.
Yeah.
That's happening. You can see it in AI. 2 years ago, we were talking about, 5 years from now, this stuff's going to be cool. And then we were like, oh, shit, next month, this is going to be cool.
I know. It's getting faster and faster and faster. And I talked about the other story before we get the listeners up on the show. And I'll ask you guys when you come up here individually. But, I was very honest on Ross Patterson Revolution that you and I got offered an AI deal for $250,000 because we had over 4,000 hours of footage. And they needed everything you said about the Real ID shit. They need all your facial structures, laughs, cries, giggles, all that other shit. We're one of few people currently that have that amount of footage out there in the world. And the only thing that was unguaranteed was like, hey, could you put Dan in a political campaign for Kamala or somebody like that? And they were like, no, we can't give you that assurance. And we were like, cool, we're not, nobody's fucking doing this bullshit. And their response was, after we said no, too bad, somebody's already doing it for you. And they're already gathering your shit. And I was just like, okay.
Cool. They can try, and I'll show up to their house and burn it to the fucking ground. How about that?
And until it gets too much, and that's what I wonder. I've heard Bert and Tom talk about the fat fellas thing, right? Mm-hmm. Did I think they were expected to show up in a video today? Probably not. Mm. And I don't know what you do about that. And that's where it's going to get weird here. Yeah. All right, kids. Now's the point of the show. We get to the Drinkin Bro of the week.
I've got one.
You got one? Good.
Do you remember Dakota Meyer?
I sure do.
You know who that is?
Yeah.
Former Marine.
Yeah.
Medal of Honor recipient.
Yes.
He re-enlisted in the Marine Corps today.
Are you kidding?
Mm-mm.
Why?
Because he fucking wants to, I guess. I don't know.
No shit.
Yeah. I think it's in the reserves or something like that. But yeah, he's back.
Wow. Former host of American Party podcast.
I know,
former co-host
dude.
of American Party. Yeah.
Wow.
Back in the Corps.
Have you texted him or asked him? I didn't hear.
I talked to him like a month or so ago about it. He told me he was going to do it. Obviously, I don't leak things unless I'm told I can.
Of course.
So,
of course.
But the DOD just posted about it, so it's not leaking at this point.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Second most
he just re-enlisted. What's that?
Second most famous rock kill.
Who's the first?
Who's the first?
Fucking David, dude.
Oh.
Nobody even knows that guy.
David
and he's got a weird little dick too. Have you seen that statue?
Yeah, very tiny.
Not
penis.
that Dakota doesn't have a weird little dick. I'm sure he does.
I haven't seen it, so I can't answer.
Well, Dakota, you're out there. I'm sure you're listening. Send me a picture of your dick so I can show Ross.
Yeah.
Or you've got his number. Send it to him.
Yeah,
but I imagine it was like a reverse situation, right? Like David killed a much bigger Goliath. I mean, Dakota was probably massive compared to the man he killed.
But I think
in Afghanistan, though, they're not super small. But Dakota's a pretty big, decent.
But he had to what he had to take down 20 other dudes just to get to that one guy for the rock fight.
Yeah,
shit. Like it was a crazy story. Total in the show.
Sometimes you just got to beat somebody to death with a big ass rock.
And that's just life.
Yeah.
Okay? That is just life. Now, you can submit for Drinkin Bro of the Week on drinkinbros.com. Bob, pull up the website here. Got all the fun stuff on there. The Bro Box has been on fire. Are these in time to order the ones that the ones that we got? It's done,
starting today, it's a whole new Bro Box.
All right.
And
it's
it's
fucked up.
Going to be super
subscribe.
cool this month, too.
Yes. You should subscribe. T-shirts are on fire. Everything else. Shout out to Brandon out there who does all of our merch. Finally got a reliable, rad fucking merch guy out there in the world. And awesome. He rocks. And big fan of you, Brandon. I've never had one fucking issue either. And I was on a business call earlier this morning and for Hard AF. And some other employee was like, dude, he already sent shirts and made them all the way out to Penn State. So if you are at the Penn State event, you're going to get limited edition shirts and hats and all that other stuff. And it's great. Right now, we got these online. Be wearing this to the game, these Penn State Hard AFs next week. But looking forward to seeing you guys. You can submit for Drinkin Bro of the Week on there as well. It'll get emailed to us live on air. However, we leave the studio doors open up to you, so come on in and see us. Got a bunch of listeners in the studio today. Who's up first back there? Who wants to come up first and give out Drinkin Bro of the Week? There it is. I knew it. A lot of confidence in this guy. He's got a Tennessee hat on. Guarantee you he's going to say, fuck Nico, and I agree with you.
Fuck Nico.
Yeah. I'm rooting for you guys here. Besides Ohio State, Tennessee's number twosies for me. Really enjoyed that. It was a recruiting trip. It was fucking awesome. And I'll never forget they take you you go into a game. So it was Tennessee, Florida, and one of the rich-ass Tennessee alumni was like, man, you go to school here, and you get to drive a fucking boat right up to the goddamn game and fucking party every week. You play for Tennessee, you're a goddamn legend. And I was like, fuck yeah. The game itself was rad. The stadium is rad. You're right on the river. All that shit is rad. Big fan. And I don't know if you've noticed on Drinkin Bro Sports for years, I've always hinted in the background of like, man, it'd be sweet if Tennessee was great again. We finally got to go like 2 years ago.
You kind of see it for sure.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
We've had a good little run.
I enjoy it. However, you guys got really fucked on this Nico sitch with the NIL deal, man. I wrote in Drinkin Bro Sports on Facebook. It was a private group. See all the bet slips from my bookie and all that other shit on there. I go, man, I'm rooting for you guys just because you had the brass to say, fuck this dude.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, and he got less money. I think he got half the money. He ended up at UCLA.
Less than half.
And by the way,
Less
UCLA
than half.
sucks.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Dude, Ohio State will run them.
Yeah.
Zero problem there.
We'll have a down year, but hey, it's all right.
I
We'll
hope
come back.
not, man. What a shitty fucking thing.
Bad
We
situation.
all knew
For sure.
this would happen eventually.
Yeah.
We just didn't know which school and why, and then it just happened to be yours the day before spring game, which is that's when you're setting the fucking team for the fall. Like that's bullshit.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Pretty rough.
Yeah.
For
Thank you for wearing the J6 Survivor
Absolutely.
shirt there.
I survived.
It's one of my favorites.
I
dude.
survived. I don't know if you did, but I did.
I did.
Absolutely.
I did as well. I'm still here.
But
Still here.
yeah, tried and true.
What's your name?
Steve from Tennessee, Knoxville. I got 3 quick ones I'll blow through because I know there's some people that want to get through some.
Fire away, dude. I'm here for you guys, so I don't really give a shit.
So first off, of course, is the wife.
Is she here?
She's here.
Okay.
My birthday weekend. So
Happy birthday.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. She was down enough to just come down and just hang out with you guys and party, and we'll go to Joe Rogan's tonight. And so,
you guys going to Mothership tonight?
Mothership tonight.
Dope.
So
Who's
don't
on
know.
tonight?
We're in a small room, so we'll see who shows up. I some other listeners back there went last night and said there was some good people came through.
It's
so
always new,
you just
and it's always fun.
for sure.
And I'll say this, man, for Joe, because I mentioned Tim Dillon's stand-up special earlier on the show. That was shot at Mothership as well. So, like, dude, everybody's going. We saw Brian Callen. He just shot there a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. I think that'll come out on Netflix or wherever it's going. Everybody's shooting their specials there. Everybody's going there. All the best people are there. It is rad what he's been able to do for this community and in particular comedy. So enjoy yourselves tonight.
For sure. Yeah, we're excited. Number 2 would be my stepdad, Bill Whitlatch. He actually passed away a couple years ago. Vietnam vet, Navy vet, but came into my life when I was a young man, going through normal young man stuff, puberty and all that, and took me under his wing and made me the man I am today. So definitely want to cheers to Bill Whitlatch for sure.
Awesome.
And then number 3 is my Aunt Linda.
Okay.
She lives in West Virginia.
Does she listen to the show?
She doesn't, but I'm going to make her listen to this.
Well, she can watch it on YouTube.
For sure.
Unless they fucking delete it after this bullshit.
It's funny, too, because there's actually some listeners from her town that she lives in West Virginia that are here today.
Really?
Small world. Go figure.
In a holler? Y'all from a holler out there in West Virginia?
Yeah, Lewisburg.
There you go.
I
am a man of
country roads, take me home.
Yeah.
Anyway, strongest woman I know. Basically,
physically fit, or
well, so she's. I'm not gonna say her age. Works 3 jobs. Runs a farm. Runs an animal rescue. Does it all on her own. Muscles it every way. Every inch, every mile. She's an amazing woman. She's basically my mother at this point. My mother passed away 10 years ago, so just want to cheers her as well. And she'll stay up late and drink with the best of us. So
all right,
definitely wanted to throw it.
Is
to
it
her.
moonshine out there? Is she making moonshine?
Man, it's moonshine, beer, whatever goes down, whatever's cold.
I thought my esophagus had melted when I was in West Virginia. Somebody gave me some moonshine up there. Yeah. One of our listeners, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude, I'm gonna die."
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What the fuck happened to me? But yeah, y'all
strong.
fucking
It's
party
good
out
shit.
there.
Good shit,
You
for
guys
sure.
fucking party out there.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys and you and Dan.
Oh no, we wouldn't be here without you guys. It's all listener based and all that shit.
For
so
sure.
like, yeah, dude.
You guys are the reason I'm here today. So
well,
I love
happy
you guys.
birthday! You want to take
Thank
a 12-pack with you?
Yeah, I'll take one. I'm in town for the weekend, so yeah, I'll chug it down.
What else are you guys doing here?
Booning around. Probably go down to San Antonio, do the river walk and some show other shit. So we're just chilling around.
All right,
hanging out.
I like that
for sure.
Yeah, go see the Alamo.
Yeah, I've been.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Do you remember
basement.
it?
No basement.
No. Do you remember it?
Not
Okay.
really.
Yeah, I'll try to remember it. That's what they ask. That's
Next
what they
time.
ask. Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Who else is back there? Got a bunch of people in here today. Come on up. Don't be shy. I see you back there. That mustache, yeah. You want to bring your wife up? Is that your wife, girlfriend, mistress? Did you rent her for the week? Could be a fun thing.
Couple of years.
Yeah. Can she sit on your lap? Is that the question? Can she? Or you can bring that chair over if you want. Go ahead. I don't
We
give a
got
fuck.
options.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
got
dude.
options here.
It's like Olive Garden when you're here, your family.
right.
When you're here, your fucking family, dude.
Fort
Wheel on
Tours,
in.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you. Fort Tours, Italy. Yeah, duthose manicotti wounds are still fresh, dog. Still fucking fresh, bro. What's your name?
Sean.
Sean, what's your lady's name?
Yeah, this is Jasmine.
What's up, Jasmine? Are you guys married?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Yeah. We,
Why'd you look at me like that when you said that? He looked at me and he was like, "Yeah, we are, motherfucker."
Yeah.
Like I was like, "Hey, I don't know."
Hey.
For Christ's sakes,
No
dude, I'm
question.
asking. Yeah, you're like, "Yeah, motherfucker, we are. We're fucking married. You got a fucking problem with it? What you want to watch? What you want to grab that cuck chair and fucking you want to watch? Is that what you doing here?" The fucking must. I'm just making sure.
We were going to ask Gary some of those questions later, but
well, have fun with that. He's
gotta
already
catch
fucking shirtless back there, from what I can see. Who do you want to give Drinkin Bro of the Week to?
So I got 2 quick ones.
Good.
If that's all right. My wife, Jasmine.
Yeah.
Yeah. She keeps me straight. She keeps me honest.
Sexually straight?
Both.
Just
Yeah,
asking.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
you know I've got to ask, okay?
Yeah.
Because
I know.
some people veer, you can pray it away, but it's getting real expensive.
Yeah.
It's running about $100K to pray that gay away. So good for Jasmine. She's doing it for free.
She's doing a great job.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
The other one is my dad. Motivates me to do what I've done so far. So in life.
What do you do?
He was in the Air Force. Saw my followed him.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You
it's a good
fucking, you real Chappie Sinclair? You real Iron Eagle or no?
No.
Okay.
Not that
Mechanic?
cool. Not that cool.
Mechanic?
But, yeah, working on it.
All right.
Yeah.
Just checking, dude. I want to know what I'm dealing with here.
Yeah.
Chappie.
Yeah.
You listening to this? I probably went there. Probably killed. Go get your father. Dougie Masters. Big Iron Eagle fan, sorry.
Hell yeah.
Sorry,
Hell
man. Like part 2 didn't count. Obviously, part 3 was bullshit, but like part 1 was just a fucking steady jerk fest, man.
Yeah.
And they got,
still
you know what? They got Queen to do a fucking original song for that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the last one before he died of AIDS.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Obviously. Yeah. What about Jasmine? Anybody for Jasmine? Pop on in. Or the mic moves over there if you want to push it to her face.
it.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Well, I have two.
Good.
This guy.
Sure.
Love him to death. I wouldn't have the life I have without him. He
That's
made
awesome.
every dream I had in life come true. And then my other one would be my best friend. They're the two people I love and respect the most in the whole world. They have pretty awesome jobs.
Who's your best friend? You want to say the first name?
Mm-mm.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. After watching this bullshit for 2 hours, smart, dude. I wouldn't say their name either. They're going to get fired from that job, and they're not going to be your best friends anymore.
I guarantee he is watching.
Okay.
So he will know.
Good.
But he's a good man.
Awesome.
Respect him. He's fantastic. So is he.
Okay.
Love him to death.
That's awesome. And the two of you guys, happy as shit, dude. And plus, the way he looked at me, dude, I knew he was happy.
Yes.
Goddamn motherfucker.
I'm doing my job.
That is my wife. That's my fucking wife, man. I'm not going to sit back in a chair and watch you fuck. All right? That's my wife. So, yeah, you got a good one there. You guys are good.
Thank you, guys.
Anybody else?
Oh, gosh.
Come on up, sir. I see you back there. Pop on up if you want to. There it is. Yeah. I like your shirt. No one is coming to save you. They're not. They're not. No one is coming to save you. I like that. No one is coming to save. Look at you pushing the chair down, dude. Are you a small man? You a small man? You walk with tall energy. You had tall energy when you walked in, and I couldn't tell. It was so far back.
I'm 5'8" in the morning.
Are you really?
Yeah, in the morning.
Congratulations.
So I got this for you guys.
What do you got there?
This is...
Well, first of all, what's your name?
I'm Joe.
Joe.
Yes.
Awesome. Nice to meet you, Joe. Where are you from?
Nice to meet you. I'm originally from Boston. I lived in North Carolina for 3 years, and now I'm just down here checking it out, seeing if I want to move down here.
Okay.
I was in the Fort Bragg area, a little rural.
Southern Pines is nice. So Wilmington and all that shit is great.
That's what, yeah, you guys keep saying that. I'm
Bragg is Bragg.
It's out there.
Bragg is Bragg, let's face it.
The funny thing is...
You got the Waffle House, and what was the fucking bar that we were dancing on the tables of, or somebody was? It's right there by the base. God damn it.
I don't know. Everyone said never go to Vietnam, so I kind of strayed away.
Okay.
But Southern Pines is pretty nice. There's like O'Donnell's and there's a Beltree. There's a couple of nice places in Southern Pines. But this right here is Brad Halling. He was in Delta Force in Somalia.
Okay.
And I think he stayed in for like another 20 years, and his wife was in for like 30. They have a distillery in Southern Pines.
No shit.
And so they're in some ABC stores in North
Carolina,
but nowhere else.
Well, that's the only place that you can buy liquor in North Carolina is at an ABC store because it's state controlled. I tell you what, you want to drink it live on air?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's turn and burn here. Is it expensive?
Yeah, I think it was like 60.
60's a good. Hey, that's a good dollar amount, dude.
It's not. Yeah.
So that listener, what was it? Monday or last Monday? Who fucking? Again, I'm in a dark room all goddamn day, so I don't know. But he brought me some bullshit, dude. That $20 bullshit.
Dude,
and I was like, bro.
Yeah. It's funny you couldn't even.
I don't even know if it's still here. I think
Gary probably drank it.
No, I think Gary's car ran out of gas and he just dumped that in and drove all the way home safely. Like that was fucking straight gasoline I drank that day, bro.
Yeah, that's some jet fuel you got.
But this is nice. This is nice bottling, nice package. It's called Sergeant's Valor Select Bourbon. What's the proof on this? Looking at shit, this is high. God damn. All right, it's 93 proof.
Yeah, it's solid. Yeah, their distillery is awesome. It's right there off Highway 1 in Southern Pines, kind of where they do the U.S. Open. It's like right in that area.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful up there.
Yeah, it's an awesome place. If you're over there, go check it out for sure. They're awesome.
And I'll have this live on air. So it says Shock at the top. Is that a last name or that means anything to them?
The B-Hawk.
Is it a B-Hawk?
So he was in Black Hawk Down.
Okay,
but B-Hawk is Brad Halling, American Whiskey Company. They used K for the company.
I like that a lot. That's a cool moniker.
Yeah,
okay, cool, man.
Cool.
Yeah, I was going with a name or something.
Shock is good too.
I mean, Shock and Awe would be dope.
Shock and Awe, yeah.
SHW, let's go, dude.
Yeah.
All right, Sergeant's Valor here. What's the city?
It's in Southern Pines, North Carolina.
93% live on air.
Not bad.
$60. We'll find out.
Give it a roll.
Hey, I'm always honest.
I haven't actually tried it myself, so hopefully it's good.
So that's the difference, right? And I hate to say it's a price thing, but it is. Because that other shit was $20. This is where this should be for this, and that's a clean fucking 93 right there.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
Nice. Awesome.
With that bullshit that guy gave me like a couple weeks ago. My God, man. My God.
Yeah, I could hear in your sip that it was not good as soon as you took it.
And I couldn't even hide it. Like I was just like, I'm not.
You were trying to be nice, but
I was trying to Anne Frank it, dude, and I was like, I'm gonna hide.
Well,
this.
that didn't work out for her.
It didn't.
So, no.
Well, and it didn't work out for me either, man, or him. Because I made him drink it afterwards. I was like, you had this?
Of course, yeah.
And he goes, no. Now this is great. So Sergeant's Valor, I can recommend. So if you're out there in North Carolina and want this,
absolutely.
Absolutely. That's a great bourbon. Okay.
Yeah. That's
all right. Cheers. Anybody else you want to give Drinkin Bro of the Week to?
So I have a couple, and it's kind of random. So this shirt is actually Greg Anderson, who you guys have had on.
Yes.
He's the man. I love that dude.
Greg is great.
Yeah, he's like, if I'm lucky enough to have a son someday, I'm gonna be like, look at guys like you guys, Greg Anderson, Evan Hafer, like those are the guys that I look up to. Even though
Ross Patterson. Yeah. No, I know.
Dr. Ross Patterson.
Well, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get there with it, where I get the honorary PhD. Yeah.
Yeah, I started listening. You guys had Mark Normand on, and I hadn't really heard any of your episodes. And then you had Mark Normand on, and I was like, oh, I'm listening to this. So I've listened to like everything since. I'm on the Patreon and everything.
That's awesome. By the way, Mark is a great guy in real life. So he rocks.
So funny.
Yes.
I don't know. Do you know Matt McCusker? He's Matt and Shane's secret podcast.
He's actually, Matt. It was it was Justin Governal. Build the wall, Governal. He actually filled in for Shane and went.
He did
did the show with Matt
at Shane's house without Shane.
Right, and then he called me the night before, and he goes, "Hey, dude, I'm going to do this fucking thing. You have any advice for me?" I was like, "Motherfucker, you've been on podcasts before. Like, we'll see how it goes." Yeah.
But yeah, definitely if you can. Obviously, Shane Gillis is a huge get, but if you can get Matt on, I think him and Dan would have it would be a very interesting conversation. He's super funny.
They're great. Yeah. I'm fans of those guys. A lot of people think, if you have a podcast, you're in competition with somebody else. No, it's not at all.
Yeah.
So I'm fans of those guys. Shit, I just saw Shane the other night on Kill Tony. He did Trump on Netflix.
Dude, it's the best.
He kills.
Yeah.
He kills.
Him as Trump, and then Adam Ray as Dr. Phil on those. There's nothing funny.
Adam is a homie as well, and he'll be here. Shit, I think he's got a live show Friday nights in Austin. We should hit him up to get him on tomorrow. But Adam's a homie as well. He did a show on the network. And, love those guys. Those guys are great.
Yeah, so Drinkin Bro, obviously the main one, Greg Anderson, no one's coming to save you. But also, I want to give, Drinkin Bros to Brad Halling, Tom from Eagles and Angels is also in Southern Pines. He's another former unit guy who started a business, and it's great to see. They serve their country for years and years. They go to war, they do all that, and then they're successful. It's cool to support them. And another one out of North Carolina, Origin USA. You've probably heard of it. They make everything 100% in America. So like hunting camo, like the shorts I have on, shirt, everything. And I met Pete Roberts. He's the guy that started it. We're both originally from New England. I met him last year. They had a sale at their factory in Ashboro, and super cool dude. He talked to me for like 2 minutes, and wasn't in a rush. And it was just it's awesome to see that stuff. So like Bob was saying earlier, vote with your dollar.
Yeah,
I'm like, I want to buy everything I can made in America, or supporting American
or support
companies.
The people that you believe in that support you, and vice versa, or your same ideals.
Yeah,
and even with Hard AF Seltzer. Like full disclosure, we got lucky with Bud Light shit in the bed, and which included their seltzer as well, which they nuked, right?
Yeah.
So there was shelf space to fill. That was us. And most of the conversations we have with these grocery chains and everything else is like, hey, is your messaging going to change? I go, you listen to the show? No, it's not. And it'll probably get worse over here. So that's all they really cared about.
Depending on who I talk to, I say, oh yeah, the AF is armed forces.
Yeah.
And then some people are like, oh, okay. And then other people, I'm like, yeah, it's probably.
It's as fuck. Yeah, it's 8%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't drank in a while, but I drank 10 during the Tom Brady roast because it was, 17 hours long.
For sure.
And I was gone.
Yeah.
It was wild.
You probably thought you were Tom Brady at the end of it.
I wish I was Tom Brady. Being from that area, being from the Boston area, I definitely, that's my guy. So that's another thing I wanted to say. We always hear you guys, but we never get to give input back. So it's super cool that we get to do this. I don't want to hear Mahomes' name in the same sentence as Tom Brady ever again.
Why is that?
He couldn't even sniff Brady's jock. It's wild how, not only did Brady beat him in the Super Bowl, but Mahomes gets every call and he has the league behind him.
Do you not remember Tom Brady? The tuck rule? Where do you
The
get
tuck rule.
That was
deflating footballs. He deflated footballs, man.
He didn't deflate any footballs.
He did, and he said it.
The tuck rule was a rule. The tuck rule was a rule. That wasn't his fault.
Tom Brady never got blown out in the Super Bowl. He
That's
did lose
true.
to the Eagles, though.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
That was a blowout to me. Wasn't that like 38-17?
No, it was like 41-30.
Yes.
It was like 41-33.
Super close game. It was back and forth.
Was it really?
And that was Belichick's fault, I must say, who is a terrible coach if you look at his record.
There was
I thought the Eagles were just fucking around on that Philly special just because they were up so much.
No, dude, it was a back and forth game. There was like 0 punts the entire game.
Really?
We kept scoring back and forth.
Because you guys had no defenses? That's fine. I mean, we can say that too.
Well,
But,
Belichick benched Malcolm Butler.
You did.
So, and that's why we lost. I was at that
know.
game, and it was not fun to lose that much money and the game.
I know. Been there.
It was brutal.
Been there.
I was also
Atlanta Falcons.
I was at the 28-3.
I was at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. When
for you
at halftime, I
it was great.
didn't think I was going to make it. I was going to go up to the roof and
everybody
follow
else
what he
did
got.
too. Mark Wahlberg was sitting next to me. He fucking took his whole goddamn wife and family and kids out of the
that
stadium.
guy's a fraud. I mean, he bailed early. He's a total fraud.
Yeah, and he goes, "Oh, my kid was sick after they won." No, he was not sick. He was sick watching Brady getting fucking drilled for.
If your kid's a
3.5
Lakers
quarters.
fan and you claim to be from Boston, you don't count.
100%. Yeah, can't. It's got to be Celtics. You got to be diehard through and through with all the bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
I like to.
You never lose that when you're even if you kind of stop watching because you lose connection from like on the TV side.
Yeah.
You never lose that. So you
But
can't.
Brady did say that, by the way, during the you blacked
He
out.
deflated?
He said, he goes, "Fuck yeah, I deflated those goddamn balls."
Well, yeah.
And by the way, I know why. Playing like it's just easier to grip, easier to kick, everything.
course.
Like it's great. The real NFL balls. If you jack that up to the actual air pressure that is listed in the NFL rulebook, it's hard as fuck. It's hard to grip. It's hard to kick. It's hard to do anything with that goddamn thing. So there's constantly people on the sidelines just working those things over, dude. To try to
they're
get them.
greasier than Gary's hair.
Yeah. That's a
But
dig.
also-
that's a dig at Gary, but
I love
it's
Gary,
fair.
but also everyone like Aaron Rodgers admitted that he deflated the balls too. So that's kind of like if everyone's doing it, it's not really if
agree.
everyone's on steroids in baseball, it doesn't that doesn't really count. So Brady, the GOAT of all time.
Wow, you're getting played off right now, by the way. Oscar music. You're getting Oscar music right now for Brady.
All right. From the Eagles fan, come on.
Yeah, he's got to. You knew he was going to do that.
I run a tight ship. We have so many other people here.
Do we really? Who else? Come on up. Come on up. For real. So half of them, Delco said they didn't want to come up and be on the show. Who else wants to be here? I don't care, by the way. Know this. I work for you, not vice versa. So if you want to come up, come on up. For real. I don't give a shit. Beardy? What about you, Beardy, Redbeard? I see you back there. If you want to come up, you come the fuck up. If not, you don't have to, okay? All right. Last one here. Last one. I think, right? Everybody else is just like, yo, I got a real job, dude. I can't be on your bullshit program. There
I got
we
a real
go.
job, too. I probably shouldn't be on your program.
You're good, dude. If you keep it clean, you know?
We'll keep it clean.
We'll try to. How many hard AFs have you had today?
7 or 8.
Yep, you sure have. I can already tell the look in your eyes
sir.
right now. It is a fucking deer in headlights, brother, and I love it. What's your name?
Steven.
Steven. Where are you from, Steven?
West Virginia.
God damn, all right, the Hollers. Yeah, dude.
That's right.
Richmond, north of Richmond, dude. How's Oliver Anthony doing these days?
I'm a little bit south and west of that. I don't know.
All right. Just check in on him for me.
Yeah,
Just
I don't
pop
know
on
where
up there.
he is.
All right, pop on up there for me. Who do you want to give Drinkin Bro of the Week to?
Well, first, my wife.
Okay, is she here?
No.
Perfect. Even better. You know?
Yep. She's taking care of all the chickens that she wanted. And
Okay.
I had
Now, when you say chickens, are those real chickens or
like
actual
real
children?
chickens.
Okay. Just making sure you're not calling your kids
No.
chickens.
We've got ones that are making eggs, and we've got ones that aren't making eggs yet. We've got ones that are still in the egg.
Still growing.
Yeah. Still growing.
Yeah. There you go. They'll be huge one day.
Yeah, one day.
For sure.
Yeah.
Who else?
Oh, that guy back there who's hiding.
Okay. Oh, yeah, behind the thing.
Yeah.
That motherfucker, dude, has gone into witness protection program. I understand
He's
it,
another
dude.
drinking bro.
Yeah, he went behind the Ross Patterson
Yep.
Revolution, said he was like, I do not want to be on this shit show. Not one frame of my body needs to be on this show, and I respect it, sir. Okay?
Yep.
And what did he do?
He introduced you guys to me.
Perfect. Perfect. And now he's hiding back there.
Yes, he is.
Look at you, you fucking dirtbag, dude. My God, you're hiding like somebody's about to come in and take you down to Seacot in fucking El Salvador. I love it, dude. Thanks for being here. Thanks, you guys. Is there anybody else I'm forgetting? If so, no, it was a hard shake no back there from your friend. He was like, nah, man, you ain't forgetting shit back here, dog. And good, dude. Appreciate you tuning in. Go to iTunes, rate the show 5-star, and leave a quick review. Also, head on over to Spotify. It's just a 5-star, and you can walk away. For D'Anthony and Anthony Hollaway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is Drinkin' Bros Fake News. Good night, everyone.